and the amount of time we all put into it, whether it's the lack of critical thinking skills because we could just Google it and use ChatGPT, or some of the insane decisions people make just for the smallest amount of attention online. This kind of issue is only going to get worse because it's not like this technology is going to disappear. It's only going to become more ingrained in all of our lives. We have a ton of different examples to go over today, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But we're going to start off with somebody making crazy choices just for some online engagement.
I'm the guy who did 600 tattoos of KSI's name, and I did a tattoo of him every single day until he called me, and I'm still waiting for a phone call. And I just want to say that this is only the beginning. I'm gonna actually do 1,000 KSI tattoos at October 1st. We are almost there, so just stay tuned, put the notifications on, because 1,000 KSI tattoos is crazy.
I can confidently say that you're a disgrace to your family. I've never even met your family, but I know that you are a disgrace. You got 600 tattoos of another grown man that you've never even seen IRL. This man blocked you. You contacted him about all the tattoos that you got on for him and stuff like that, and he blocked you. You didn't get a video out of it. You didn't get no content. No, now you just get to walk around as the dump with 600 tattoos of KSI.
And I wish that this was bait just for some funny content online, but we go over to the account and he's still doing it. Apparently 2,000 KSI tattoos soon. Now I'm not trying to downplay his account, but he has 16,000 followers on TikTok. That's not nothing, but comparing to other influencers, that's pretty small. I don't think doing all of this and not even getting the attention of the person you're tattooing on your body is really worth it in the end. And you already know, clicking on one of my videos, I have to put in a clip of me hating on some gamblers, so here you go.
I just got my final notice on my doorstep saying if I don't pay $1,400 by tomorrow, they're about to cut my lights off. $1,400? That is outrageous. And I don't know about y'all, but I like keep my lights on. But the only way they're about to get it from me is I'm gonna put $1,400 on some dice and see if I can get this for free. Or if not, they gonna have to shut my off. Let's get it. $1,400. 50-50. Chew! I'll start lighting the candles.
Now I know that these types of videos are a funnel into other avenues to make money, so that's why they make ridiculous choices like this. He's got a link on his page to Roobet. I guess it's just another one of the FanDuels. I mean, there's a million sites. However, seeing this content day in and day out, especially the sports gambling guys, will slowly start eroding your brain and thinking that this kind of thing is okay. Let me just bet $1,400 on dice real quick, even though I can't pay my bills. I am glad that a lot more people are talking about the gambling problem in today's world, but it doesn't mean that it's going away anytime soon. But we'll move on to honestly people just recording themselves committing crimes. On one hand, I guess it's fine because it's a pretty cut and dry case of what happened. You are legitimately caught red-handed with video evidence on social media. But on the other side of the coin, where is the common sense in today's world? My mom throwing bricks at my dad's car 15 years after breaking up. You decided that this was a good idea to put on TikTok. Wow. How mature with 173,000 likes. That's how many eyeballs are on this video. Bro. Girl, take this down with 200,000 likes. Too late now. Recording a literal crime is crazy. The dad's lawyer after seeing this viral TikTok. Girl, this is something to post on the private or close friends or something. Please don't get her caught up. LOL, this is so funny. 500,000 likes. Girl, why are you posting the evidence? Incriminating your mom for views. There's thousands of these comments. Wow. There's another one that seems to be a trend on TikTok, taking the advertisements for movies from the mall, from movie theaters, recording you and your friend just running off with it. And then going to some of the comment sections are pretty interesting. Completely legal, by the way. My movie theater saved the security camera videos and sent it to the police who tracked their license to the home. There you go. That's how easy it is to be found in 2026. There's a 4K security camera at every corner. Hope the couple 100,000 or even couple million views on TikTok was worth it. I don't think so.
This TikTok just made this moron homeless.
Best part about living in a high rise is you can just let your dog right here. Get rid of it, then you just go like this. Look at that. Yeah.
Your actions have earned you the title Dog Poop Man. And after watching it, yeah, dude, sorry, you did that to yourself, because it now seems like he's getting evicted.
And just like that, boys, Miami, we had a good run. So guys, I end up coming home, check my front door, and I have 7 days to get the
out, bro. Here on the balcony, for those of you that saw, ended up not being a harmless video.
But he made another video, another update.
So I'll be homeless in about 6 days. I went from living his dream life to damn near going homeless.
You documented yourself throwing dog poop off of your balcony. Absolute life skill issue.
I think one of the comments from this video says it perfectly. Then he pressed post. You thought that this was a good idea, that there would be no consequences. Zero critical thinking skills whatsoever. And funny enough, this isn't even a one-off
What
issue.
the fuck
There's
are
another
people
one on the
doing
screen.
nowadays?
Now that I live in a
What-
penthouse, I
are
can
you-
go from my
like,
balcony
what are
every day
you
and hit all the
doing?
9-to-5 workers below me to knock them into reality. You really can't make this kind of stuff up. Your 5 roommates are kicking you off the lease. Isn't that the truth? You could literally be reported for a crime, and there's video evidence to prove it. We got another example up on screen. Throwback to me yelling at the car wreck and end up turning into one. If you haven't seen these types of videos, it's somebody who drives by a car accident saying, hey, you know you can't park there, right? It was funny like the first or second time you saw those videos, but then it got really old very quickly. And then this person decides to do it as well and ends up in her own car wreck because she's not paying attention. To add on top of it, them also
Fucking
posting this
stupid.
online, if it was me, I would have never put it up because of how embarrassed I would have been. But that's not the thought process in today's world. Anything for just a little bit of engagement. Here we have another example that I just have to talk over because the audio is horrendous. The amount of wind noise makes the audio useless, but it's somebody who decided to show everyone how she sideswiped a pole and completely wrecked her Cadillac Escalade.
Holy
Basically playing it off like it's not that
shit.
serious, even though it's a 6-figure car. You could obviously see the amount of damage, and she uses the excuse that I'm just a girl. That's exactly what the description showed as well. We could go over to the comments. I'm sorry, but the I'm just a girl is so insulting to those who don't think this behavior is cute. Exactly. If you hit stuff regularly, that's probably an indicator that you shouldn't be driving a car that big. But the Escalades, the
it's an
Yukons, the
indicator that you
Tahoes,
shouldn't be
Suburbans,
driving,
Expeditions are all the
period.
mom dream cars. I'm gonna have
It doesn't matter the size of the vehicle. If you're gonna hit shit while driving, you're gonna hit shit while
As an Escalade
driving.
owner, I know it has sensors and cameras all over the place. The creator replies, well, they didn't make a peep. Oops. Honestly, how in the world could you possibly not see a yellow pole? Your insurance must be through the roof. But we can move on to yet another
Probably.
example of a series that I have on this channel, because that's how common this problem is.
I was
People
gonna say,
getting
I
fired
highly
from their
doubt
work
the
because
insurance
they
company is
can't
gonna
stop
cover that.
recording
That's
themselves on
your
the job.
fault.
Hey guys!
Like 100%.
So last night I got fired from Texas Roadhouse, and it is because of that one video that I have. I took it down thinking that I would still keep my job, and I tried to make a deal with them, and my boss, she said no. But the reason why is the Texas Roadhouse Biggest Pet Peeve video blew up, and one of our guests saw it and they reported me.
I didn't see the video. Someone tell me what it was about. It was a video of her going around asking the employees their biggest work pet peeves while working at Texas Roadhouse. Most were just like customer icks, basically nothing for her to get fired for. But you're still going around making videos while you're on the clock. I saw
That's
the video.
the
Texas
problem
Roadhouse was
right
right
there.
to fire you. You're
Is
the
the
first
fact that
impression
you are
people associate with
refusing to
Texas
do your
Roadhouse,
job,
and it
and
wasn't
instead
good. Don't
you are
apologize. You didn't do
choosing
anything wrong. You
social
have opinions
media.
on your pet peeves as everyone does.
Like,
That's not the problem. The problem is
you
again
need
that
to
you
get your
recorded a whole
priorities
bunch of
fucking
employees
straight,
and customers
is
and
what you
decide
need
to
to
put
do.
up online, getting hundreds of thousands or millions of
Like,
views. And we have
I
another
don't really have
comment
much
talking
room to
about this
speak,
follow-up video. Servers
like,
need to stop. It looks
I'm gonna
so
be honest
bad
with
to
you,
come
if I
on
had a
TikTok
job,
and
I'd be
complain.
doing my
As a
fucking
server of
job.
36 years, this
You know what I
video
mean? 'Cause that's what I'm
infuriates me.
there
If you're
for.
at the point where you
'Cause
are
you
posting
get paid
TikToks
for
as some
doing
sort
your
of
job.
creator or influencer, you have
You get
100%
paid
seen
to
some of the
work.
videos of people
You don't
getting
get
fired
paid to
because they
just
were recording
stand
at
there
work.
and
So
look
you're just
pretty.
going right along and doing it anyway. You
All right?
can't really be surprised.
have a
I
job.
honestly don't know what else to
That's
say.
what that is. Like, don't get me wrong. Personally, I don't want to be a slave to
You
a
know
9 to
something
a
that I'm
5
learning
company.
about the world that we're living in? You have to be
Whilst being treated like
extremely
a
specific,
disposable,
extremely literal, and
replaceable,
impeccably
plastic
concise
bag.
with every word that
Sorry.
you say, because people
But,
are looking to
nothing in that
misunderstand you.
sentence
People are looking
makes
to
me
have
feel
an
like an
argument with
employee.
you. People are looking
me
to
feel like,
just have a
garbage.
bad day. And it's sad that common sense is not so common. When you're trying to prove a point, or my bad, when you're trying to exercise a point to people, they're literally going out of their way to misunderstand you, and it's say that.
I think this is super common online.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
almost like
understand why
a
people
pastime
do that.
for
Like,
some
you-
people to just get into arguments
Why?
with other users, yelling back and forth into the void. It's not like you're going to change
It's like I'll be
anybody's
saying
opinion.
something,
It really
I'll
must
say
be
something,
some
and then
form of
somebody will have
entertainment
the
for
complete
people out
polar
there. I mean,
opposite
we have an
fucking
example
opinion.
right here of pet owners
Just so they
getting
can go
very
against
angry
you.
at this woman.
Yesterday I made a
sometimes I
video
really
that
just wanna look
triggered
at them
a lot
and
of
be
dog
like,
parents.
I am
and
not
I
fucking
said
arguing.
that dogs aren't human.
I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna change my
Basically,
opinion.
my
I'm not
main
gonna do
point in
this.
the
I'm not
video
gonna
was
do
just
that.
that dogs aren't
Have
human.
your
They
own
don't
opinion.
have to go
I
every
don't give a
single
fuck.
indoor place that humans go. And I am
really don't
getting
care that
so
much.
many comments of people like, well, people bring their
Better
kids and
things that I could be
babies.
doing. Like,
What is
so
a kid
many
and what
better
is a
things.
baby? Quickly. Human? Yeah, let's refer to the beginning of the video again. Dogs are not what? Human. There we go, there we go. It's like people are deliberately missing the point.
Now I know that this could be a topic in and of itself, and I really think this problem is only going to be getting worse with the younger generations. What's your critical thinking skills going to look like when we start seeing articles like this? Nearly a third of kids can't use books when starting school, and try to swipe them like phones.
If my child started swiping a book like it was a tablet, thus outing me to the preschool teacher that not only has my kid never touched a book, but they've also never even seen me open a book, I would pull him out immediately and we would just try again in another school.
Turning pages was on our development questionnaires. How do you get that far gone? Some of my students have never even held a crayon before coming to kindergarten. Stop it, this has to be fake. I can't believe this. I hope it is fake. My niece had this problem when she was 3 to 4 years old. I asked my sister-in-law about it, who proudly exclaimed, I don't read to her, why would I? Oh man. I know we've dived deeper on this channel with this topic. Gen Alpha is not doing too well in school right now. They're having pretty tough times just reading. So unless there's major changes happening very quickly, the future is just not looking too great. Now we can switch over to some of the products that get shoved in our face all the time, the TikTok shop, the Temu fails. Again, at this point, if you're still getting scammed with these really low quality items, I don't really know.
If you're still getting scammed by these low quality items, I just want to let you know that you're not getting scammed by Temu. You are the one scamming yourself by willingly handing them more of your money for Chinese garbage products that didn't make it through the production line. Remember that. Remember that. Pretty much everything on Temu, the reason why it is the price that it is probably because it didn't make it through quality control. Think about that for a few seconds. Maybe it didn't make it through customs and they had to go through customs again. So instead of, I don't know, replacing said customer's item, they just say, fuck you, we don't have to. Because the thing is that they have done that. I'm still waiting on a package to this day from years ago. My mother is also still waiting on a package to this day, which is clothing that was released not even months ago. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's clearly product that they have a limited amount of. You know what I mean? And the question is if they only have this specific set amount, that means that they don't have access to any stock market. They're just getting what's left over. Once it's gone, the listing's gone. They make a new one. It literally operates like an Amazon warehouse with all the returns and shit. Like, there's no fucking way. I'm telling you, unless the products that they're selling are legitimately that fucking cheap and are legitimately made out of garbage, like, I mean recycled, like 100% recycled, there's no fucking way they're making money off of that. Like, you're not making any profit, dog. I'm sorry, but the prices on Temu, the sellers aren't making profit. Like, unless their product literally costs 50 cents and below, you're not even making $1 in profit. Of which, at that point, it would be an entirely pointless and fruitless fucking goddamn effort. A waste of time. You know what I mean? And people do this on Amazon too. Like, and it's not just on Amazon or Temu or shit like that. Like people will take a product and buy it, and then they'll oversell the fuck out of it. Just because it's the only one that you can get. Scalping the fuck out of the product. And the warehouse that produces them, quite fucking literally cannot produce them fast enough for the company to sell them by the billions. Whilst there are also billions of people trying to scalp them. You know what I mean? Like, literally, bro. Right.
What else to do? There are so many different examples online.
Oh yeah, buy the Vivor floor off TikTok Shop. This is the garbage that TikTok Shop sells. Now I'm trying to put, look at,
like,
every time I try to push
this
anything
is what I'm
over
talking
it,
about right here. It's
it pulls
literally
out.
just
This is
garbage.
what's happening.
It's
This floor is
pre-production garbage.
Don't believe a word TikTok Shop says.
Yeah,
That indented
fucking
from
garbage.
a tire sitting on it. That is just from a tire sitting. A car in my garage on the garage tile floors. This was like $900 in tiles, and they're all cheap rubber, and they bend and they pull up and they warp. This is what it looks like. It took me so much time to build this. All that happened just from pushing a toolbox on it.
This one wasn't even that cheap, almost $1,000 worth of these tiles for it to be basically useless. Now I know that there's a lot of creators that all of their content on TikTok is just buying these products, showing you how much of a scam it is. But I guess it doesn't.
I can't imagine that it costs anything more than $100 to produce all of
another
that.
clip that's been happening for
Considering
the
they're
past
probably
6
using
years since the
fucking
pandemic,
tires.
just an unbelievable amount of terrible Temu products.
When you sell your living room set and then you order from Temu, cabrón.
You sure it's Temu? Temu? I think it's Temu.
Oh, Sherry, Finlay. Beautiful.
Imagine you buy a phone on Temu or S23 Ultra and then it's that you get it. What's the size of that piece?
Temu got me because I thought I was buying this bat ornament, not a photo of someone holding the bat ornament. Like, what the f is this?
Now, I know most of these clips are pretty funny at the end of the day, but still, you can't be getting got by these products in 2026 now.
Do you see what I mean?
Everybody knows that
They're
a scam,
literally
but I
selling
guess
you
that's not
fucking
the
garbage
case.
that
I
they
do have a
can't
lot
get
more
rid
examples,
of
but I
by
think
normal
you guys get the
means.
point. We'll just finish off this video with
Like, no, I'm being so dead ass. Like, shit that they can't just sell. Like, you know what I mean? The things that just did not sell because nobody fucking wants that. Like, if I want a photo of something, guess what? I'm gonna go to Google, click an image, right click, save image, and then I'm gonna go into my file browser, and then I'm gonna right click the image again, and I'm gonna click print. If I want a picture of a fucking bat ornament that bad, I can do it for free. Like, right off of the Temu website. Like, literally, bro, I can take the image from your listing and do that with it. And I can do that on any fucking website with a listing. If it has a photo listing, guess what? I can save the image. You want to know what the dumbest thing about that is? Is that somebody else can literally take that and create the exact same listing that looks exactly the same. And guess what? Not a single fucking online company is going to do anything about that. Like, I'm telling you. I've seen people sell things that are literally worth $1 in production value for 10 times that price. Because they think it's worth something. And it's not. It's just not. And it's like, they think it's worth something because they think it's an antique. But in reality, it's just a remodel. It's just a remake. Like, it's very, very common. But you see that a lot.
this clip.
This solar company convinced this customer to put solar panels on their aging roof. Now this customer needs a new roof, and they
Which
have
means
to
the solar
pay
panels
to
have
have
to
the
be
solar
removed.
system removed off the old roof and installed onto a new roof.
That's gonna
and
cost
this is going
15
to
grand.
add to the cost of their solar project.
Yeah, straight the fuck up. That's
Meaning
gonna
they're
cost
not
15
saving
grand
as
just
much
to get
money in the
started.
long run as they could have. Make sure you do not get taken advantage of by a solar company. Solar power is absolutely a great choice if it's done on the right home. You should never have solar installed
Absolutely
on an
fucking
aging
right.
roof
Absolutely
or a roof
fucking
you know
right.
needs
I
to
agree.
be replaced.
Now, I'm not some amazing handyman or master carpenter, but you could clearly see that that roof is pretty worn down. I know that there's a lot of issues with solar and the shady companies trying to get you to sign
Once it
contracts
starts
that are a
turning white,
complete
that's how
scam,
you know
but
that
at the end
there's
of the
no
day, you're the one signing
shingles
on the dotted line. You didn't
left.
realize that this was going to be a problem, a
They're
pretty
eroding.
costly one at that as well. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, so we're going to end it here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoy.
I'm glad that I got on top of our roof multiple times, because if I didn't and that roof was fucked, we would not know until it starts leaking. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm a professional at roofing, I know what I'm doing, this and that. No, you lay the fucking asphalt down and then you put a shingle on top of it. You start at the top and you move slowly down. You can start at the bottom and move to the top if you want to, but I prefer to start from the center and move down. Because the thing is that I have to first get that corner completely sealed on the top. That's where I want to start. That's exactly where I want to start, because everything else is every shingle from then on is gonna be tucked under the edge, which you can do that backwards. But I prefer to do it the opposite way that most people do, because I have more control over the shingle as I'm laying it down. Not only that, the cement and or asphalt, whatever you're using as your adhesive to hold the shingles on. Sometimes some shingles even come with adhesive built in. Like you literally just peel a white sticker off the back and stick it on. I wouldn't recommend using those. They kind of tend to fall off. But yeah. Okay, people are refusing to pay their debt in 2025.
If you use Klarna, you do not have to pay the money back.
Just don't pay your loans back. You don't owe anybody anything anyway.
Not paying your Klarna debt almost feels like the new status symbol.
So today we're going to be taking a look at people who refuse to pay off their debt. We're going to be going over many different reasons on why they decided not to pay and the consequences down the road. We got the student loans, we have the credit cards, buy now pay later loans, car payments, we have it all. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just kick this off with the good old-fashioned Klarna payments.
If you use Klarna, you do not have to pay the money back, because the owners of Klarna are not in the United States. Why would you pay back someone who lives across the globe? Buy up all that you can right now with Klarna, okay? And what are the Swedish people even gonna do about it? They don't live in America. They can't do anything. They live in Sweden.
This is the perfect customer for Klarna, because when it's all said and done and you don't make the payments and they end up suing you, they're going to take a lot more money than just some of the interest from those installment loans. We could take a look at some of the comments. The first one is an image of his brain being empty but his mouth being full. Just bought a house on Klarna. LMAO, your debt gets sold to the US Debt Collection Agency and your credit score tanks. Anything you say, boss man. So I guess his thought process is if they are not an American company, you don't have to pay them back. I mean, in that case, we should run over to the Toyota dealerships, because apparently all the cars will be free then. But I mean, that's just the first example. We got a whole ton to go through today.
Just don't pay your loans back. You don't owe anybody anything anyway. You see, the money that you've taken out as a loan is yours. You created it. If people understood exactly how money works, you'd understand that you don't owe anybody any money. Like, let me ask you this question. When you take out a loan from the bank, where does that money come from? You see, we're sold this idea that when you take a loan out from the bank is somehow giving you something that they already own, and therefore you have to give it them back.
Before I say anything, let's look at the comment.
No, actually, it's borrowed money from the company, from the bank's company, and you have to pay that back because it is literally the company's money, like corporate, like That's where it comes from.
My late fees
It's
and
not
interest
even really
payments
theirs.
would beg
It
to
goes to
differ.
the company
Yes,
that
they'll pay
owns
them
that
back. Just
bank
know that you'll never qualify
and
for a
operates
mortgage,
it.
car loan, emergency, or personal loan, credit card ever again. You could add on top of that renting an apartment as well. People will look at your credit score for that. Even some jobs now want to take a look at where you stand before you get hired. As long as you're okay with those consequences, by all means, don't pay your loans. And what we're going to see in this video is a lot of the younger generation just becoming adults, 18 to 25, are doing just that, not thinking of the future at all. I guess they think doomsday is a lot closer than we all think, and are honestly going to have a rude awakening down the road. Not once has this crap ever stood up in court. Just a very interesting way to start off this video, but we have a comment from one of you guys. Teaching how credit works should be a mandatory class in high school, and I agree with that 100%. But now we'll head over to some of the student loan debt.
I will honestly admit that I don't think I've made a single payment on those student loans because I've had.
Great, you don't feel responsible to pay back money you borrow?
It's not that, I guess.
Well, yes. Go on.
I don't have the degree for it. So I'm like...
Yeah, but you borrowed it. I don't have the degree. I'm paying on mine.
I know I borrowed it. But and it's not that
Yep.
I don't plan on paying
So the
it
thing
back.
is I don't have either of those, and I specifically chose not to do that.
$20,576.
Not
So if you're going
to
on
take
10
out
years
a
without a
student
single
loan
payment,
to
I'm
go
going to
to
say
college,
it's probably a safe
to
bet that
not
you weren't actually
get a
planning on
diploma,
paying them
to
off. And the
not
excuse is something that
get a
we've heard
job.
a lot on this channel. Either they
You know
end
what
up
I mean?
getting a degree, racking up a whole bunch of debt, and not getting a job in this terrible market to
Like,
be able to sustain themselves
that's
along with
the
paying it off. It kind of
common
sounds like
problem
they
with
ended up
college.
dropping out, not getting the degree, and
If
just
you
racked up the
don't
$20,000.
succeed,
But
you
it
are
also
just
sounds
in
like that's
debt.
exactly what happened to Caleb Hammer as well, including
And
myself.
you don't have
I
a
am
job to
community
pay it
college
back off,
dropout,
so
didn't
you're
even
just
get an associate's
fucked
degree, and
in
also
student
racked
debt.
up $21,000 worth of
Yeah.
student debt, basically just lighting it on
Don't
fire.
take out a
Complete
student
waste
loan.
of time. But I
If
knew
you
that there were
absolutely
consequences for
fucking
what I
have
did.
to.
I will say I guess I'm lucky to only rack up $21,000 worth of debt instead of
But
a lot
do
of the
your
six
diligence
figures that we've
and
been
really,
seeing
really
online. But I
honestly
did pay them
think
back,
about it
even
for
though
a
I basically got
long
nothing in
time.
return.
Because it will
I'm 23 and I'm in
like it will
$300,000
change
debt.
the entire
And I'm not stressed
outlook
about
on
it.
your life
If I pass
if
away
you don't
tomorrow,
pay it
that
back.
debt disappears.
You will never qualify
And
for another
honestly, as long as I
loan
can afford
again.
my daily
You'll
Starbucks,
never
I'm
qualify
good. I
to
am
get a
not
new
stressed.
car from a dealership again.
So again, we hear that
Because of
excuse
your
very
credit
similar
score.
to the doom spending. I could drop dead tomorrow. There's more to this particular creator with all of the debt, and she used the excuse that she didn't know what she was doing. She was just a girl, and all of those kind of tactics we've heard before, and ended up getting a lot of backlash for it. Surprise, surprise. But with her acting all nonchalant about it, and not taking it serious at all, I thought it went well with a comment from one of you guys. This is my sister. We have a family business. It's so stressful having your finances intermingled with someone who's so financially illiterate and so stubborn. So this could
That
start
must
eating
suck.
into your family life, a lot of your relationships. Not just hurting yourself and your credit score and all of that kind of stuff. It's hurting their family business. And the amount of examples
I was
that
gonna
I
say,
saw
it's one
online
thing
that were
to
very similar to the
irresponsibly
last
use
clip
your
was
money,
just unreal.
and it's
I got
another
sent to
thing
collections for not paying my
entirely
credit cards
when you are
and the description.
in
I
debt
don't care.
and you are
Hashtag
still
relatable,
irresponsibly
hashtag
using
For
your
You
money.
page, hashtag life and debt.
There
The
is a
only
very
comment
large
under
difference
this
between
clip,
the two.
usually it'll be gone in 7
One
years
is,
depending on
I don't
how
really
much.
have
As if 7 years
priorities,
of
so I
your
just
life
do
are
whatever
just
I
going to
want,
pass
and the
by
other
in an
is
instant.
I have
Especially when it'll
priorities,
be
but I
very
choose to
difficult
do
to
what
do
I want
almost
instead of
anything
that.
with an ever-increasing cost of living. So I just want to put
You know, I
this
have
into
responsibilities,
perspective.
I have shit
7
that I
years
need
of
to
your
take care
life
of. I'm
is
in debt, but no, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna
days.
use
At the
this
time
money
of
for
recording,
whatever the
since
fuck I want,
made
you
my
know,
first
instead of
video on this channel,
worrying
it has
about the
only
fact
been
that I'm never gonna be able
425
to
days. I honestly
actually
feel
get
like I've been
anywhere
making
in
these
life
kinds
now
of videos
because of
for
it.
such a long time now, and it's
Because
basically just been a
you
little bit over a year.
can't get a
So
loan for a
imagine
house.
7 years
You can't
of
get
your
a loan
life
for a
being
car.
destroyed
You can't
because
get
you
a
didn't pay
buy
off your
now, pay
loans, your
later
credit
loan.
card debt, and went to
You won't get
collections.
approved.
You file
You
for
won't get approved
bankruptcy
for a new
as a
car.
reset button,
You won't
and then
get
just
approved
wait
at a
out those
dealership.
2,500
You won't get
days.
approved
When you
for new
haven't paid your
insurance.
Klarna off,
You
and
won't
they
get
start
approved for a
sending you
different
letters.
insurance
I thought
rate.
this was
Your credit
particularly
score is just
interesting
gonna keep
because this clip
tanking,
was uploaded
and the more
November
it tanks,
27th,
the less likely
2020.
you are
I
to
know
get
the
accepted
BNPL,
by
the Klarna
anything
stuff has
else.
been very popular in the news over the past year, but there's been people not paying these debts off since COVID. What'll happen if you don't pay? Please answer, I want to know. The creator responds, I think if it gets too far, it affects your credit score and they could contact your bank? Question mark. He doesn't even know. Another one right here.
You
when
get
you get letters
sued
from
eventually.
Klarna because I still haven't paid my bill. September 25th, 2020. Me, but with Clear Pay, I guess there's another one. Literally me last week. Gotta love anti-Klarna. LOL, I use Klarna like I don't ever have to pay it back. Someone take it away from me. Laughing emoji. Not people in these comments bragging about being in debt to buy clothes. At least there's somebody with a level head. Here's another one of the trends. You look happier now. Thanks. I gave up on paying my credit cards. And after 7 years, it'll come off your credit report. That comment was also hearted by the creator.
And this is why I don't have a credit
for the rest
card.
of my life before I give up my vacation
This
money.
is why I
Karma
have a
comes first.
debit
I did
card.
this for 4 years and now I'm being sued.
DEBIT.
Oh, there's actual consequences? What?
Debit.
Another one, basically the same thing. You look
Does
happier.
not
Yes, I stopped
fuck
paying
up
off the credit cards.
your
Whatever
credit.
happens, happens. And this person is a parent. They have children.
Does not
this is an
allow
entire family
you
account,
to
which
go
if you watch my
into
second
debt.
channel, I already don't like this type of content. Using your
I
kids
have
for
it set up
attention
to
and
where I
views and
cannot
also
borrow
openly
money
saying that
from
you're just
Cash
not
App
paying off your
because
debt
I
while being
do
responsible
not want to
for
be
a
in debt.
child's life.
Period,
When I remember I
bitch.
have a bag of
Thank you.
72
Fuck
credit
you.
cards in my closet and you literally can just not pay them back and nothing happens. I got sued for mine. Just wait. Top comment right there. Use one of them to go to therapy. I think you're manic. Don't do this.
Yeah, like
At
I
least
said,
this comment
you
section
are
was
gonna
more
get sued by
level-headed
the
because
company
this
that
clip
you
got
owe.
3.2 million
Like,
views.
you're
Me,
going
when
to
I
get
don't
sued
pay off
either
my
by the
credit
state,
card
the
bill for
country.
6 months because I didn't
You're
think
going
I
to
had
get
to pay
sued
anything
eventually.
above the minimum.
They will
And
get
the
that
audio
money
to
out
this
of you,
clip was
whether
just
you
the
have it or
I'm
not.
just a girl trend that we've gone
And
over
I'm just gonna let you
several
know, if you
times.
don't
Me
have that money,
scrolling
guess
through
what? You're
TikTok,
going
distracting
even
myself
further
so I don't
into
have
debt.
to pay my credit cards because I'm too scared to see how much I owe. There are so many more examples. There's an entire trend right here. I repeat, don't pay these.
Don't
You
get
can
a credit
dispute
card.
these. Affirm, Klarna, MCM,
Don't
all of
get
the
a
BNPL
credit
stuff.
card.
Another clip like
And
this.
if you
Midland
do
Credit
get a
Management
credit
Portfolio
card,
Recovery Associates,
do not
LVNB
use it
Funding,
for
Enhanced
everyday
Recovery. I mean,
purchases.
this guy just makes video after video
Holy
doing
shit.
basically the exact same thing. I just screen recorded it showing you how many different ones I found. And just one of the
I was
comment
gonna say,
sections is
the
someone
things
who
that
works
you
in
use a
payroll.
credit
3
card
of these
for
companies
are like
the most
down
common
payments on a
wage
car,
garnishments I see.
down
And the
payments
clip
on a
up
house.
screen we recently
You know,
just
things
saw
that are
on
gonna
the
go
bad
on your
TikTok
credit
advice video
score
of a woman
that are
basically
going
saying
to
the same
help your
things,
credit
however,
score.
with car payments. You know,
And the
only
more
make
that
as
you
many
make
as
that
possibly
payment
can
on
and get
time,
it repoed and just apply for another
the more
loan
that
at a
impacts
worse
you in a
bank with a
positive way.
worse interest rate and get another car. Do it over and over again. I
You
believe
would
she
think that
said she
somebody
had
like me
3
wouldn't know
repos,
any of
and I
this.
don't really have to tell you how absolutely
But that's the
terrible
thing I
of a
do.
situation that could be when you start getting 30%
Why do you
interest
think
rates
I am
on a
not
car
in
that's
debt?
already overpriced.
I don't have
probably
no
could have
job.
made an entire video
I'm not
with
in
just
debt.
those types of clips. But we'll move on. We got another comment from one of you guys. I was a bill collector for over 20
know what
years.
I mean?
Been out
Like-
for over 15. It's always been about attitude. Unpaid credit card debt was always the people believing they deserved it for no reason other than someone else has it or does it and I want to also. Now with social media fakery and fake
What kind of
boasting,
fucking-
this problem has only multiplied exponentially.
Look, see, here's the difference between me and the rest of this fucking world is that when I want something, I'm willing to build. Like, I'm willing to build it. I'm willing to bring it into existence. I'm willing to work for it. Not just go into fucking debt so I can have somebody or something that somebody else has. You know what I mean? That's not logical in any way, shape, or form. Like, let me go into debt just so I can have the same thing that somebody else has. That is retarded. On a multitude of levels. Let me ruin my entire fucking life. And my future. And not ever be able to get a car from a dealership. Like, before you even think about doing this, make sure that you've done everything that you want to do in life. You know, like buy a house, or get an apartment, or get approved for a new car from a dealership, or this or that. You know what I mean? Make sure you do all of those things before you go into debt. Yeah. That way, you know, when that eventually happens, you know, it's like, at least you had your priorities straight before your life got completely fucked over and you got sued. Don't go into debt. You know what I mean? Don't overspend. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, we gotta pay our bills and shit like that. Yeah, I understand that. Of all people, I understand that you have to fucking do something sometimes. But here's something you don't have to do. Irresponsibly spend it on shit you do not fucking need. Problem solved. I am not in debt simply because of that fact that I don't spend money on useless fucking shit. If I have the ability to fix it with my own two hands, if I have the ability to solve the problem without having the need for funds, do you think that I'm just going to jump to that? That I'm just going to jump to, let me get a credit card and go into debt so I can get the parts that I need faster? No. No, you take shit out the easy way, guess what? You get nothing. You earn nothing when you take the easy way out. The only thing you earned is to get called a bitch. That's what you earn when you take the easy way out. When you take the easy route, you just a bitch.
Actually, I 100% agree. Back in the 1990s, you weren't watching Mr. Beast videos or fake AI girls with $1,000 bags every second of the day. It's only making things worse, and a good portion of the time, the people that we're watching don't even have that kind of money. But with the lack of financial and economic knowledge, when it comes to Gen Z, the people who are using their phones the most, you could end up making some absolutely terrible decisions. I mean, let's look at this clip.
Asking this because I genuinely don't know how the economy works. So with everything going on and the recession that might happen, is there actually any point in me paying off credit card debt? Or should I just focus on like paying rent and paying the basics? I have no savings, so that's not the issue. I'm currently just living paycheck to paycheck.
So guess what? You know what you're supposed to do. Because you just said it. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. Guess what? It's all of the fucking above, you dumb bitch. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a dickhead. But you are fucking dumb to ask that question. Do I pay my rent? Do I pay my bills? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Yep. Do you want to continue to have a roof to live under? Oh, yeah. Then it's not really optional, is it? Exactly. Exactly. So what do you think happens if you don't pay off your debt and that company sues you and you have no money left because you didn't pay them back interest of any type, of any percentage? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even about how much interest you're paying back. It's the fact that you're paying it back. If you don't do that, you will get sued eventually. And guess what happens when you get sued? You lose everything. You literally go into the negatives. Like, you can't buy anything. You can't get a down payment on a house. You can't get another loan. You can't get a buy now, pay later loan. You can't get a car from a dealership. You will not get approved. Period. Period. Like, multiple insurance companies will not approve of you because of your credit score now. Simply because of that. So the answer to your question is yes, you pay off your debt. Yes, you pay your rent. Yes, you pay your bills. Yes. Yes. That is how the world works. Yes. Yes, that is what you are supposed to do. Yes. Yeah. I don't know why the fuck this is a question that you need to ask of all people, considering you are probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years older than I am and have more experience in this world than I do. Please explain to me why the fuck I'm the one answering this question. Why is it that I am the most logical person right now? Like, don't go into debt and you won't have to pay off debt. It really is that easy. Like, it really is just as easy as don't fucking overspend. Don't be irresponsible with your money. And when the time comes that you do absolutely have to pay something off, guess what? You have the funds to do so because you didn't fucking responsibly spend it on stupid shit. Wow. Yeah, of all people I know, trust me, I know, I spent $2 grand on dumbass shit. Not a single time throughout that. Did I ever go into debt though? Do you want to know why? Because there's this thing called budgeting. Yeah. There's this thing called don't fucking overspend when you have 000. When you see that 000 on your card, guess what? It's time to get up and go back to work. Not borrow, not go into debt, not get another credit card, not like the more you do that, the more you're gonna ruin your life. I hope you know that. Like, you're just gonna ruin your life by doing that. Like, if you're gonna take out a loan with the intent of paying it back, okay. But if you choose not to pay it back later in time, your life will be ruined. You will lose literally everything. They will take everything from you simply by suing you, and you won't have anything to pay it off. Like, you literally will not have a penny to your name. Like, every single dollar that you make for every fucking hour that you work would go straight to that debt, and you wouldn't be able to use it to continue living. So, realistically, whose fault is it that you're in debt to begin with? Because you can't really blame anybody else for your own spending habits, can you? Because that's the thing. Yeah, I spent $2,000 on a person, but here's another thing. I had the ability to say no each and every time, and I chose not to. That's called an irresponsible decision. You know where that gets you? Exactly where this person is right now. They don't know whether they should stop paying off their debt and focus on their bills in their house, or if they should focus on their debt. What you should do is you should balance them. Because if you don't, and that company that happens to be your bank eventually notices that you are not making any payments with 0 interest whatsoever, they're going to sue you. Eventually, you're going to end up in a courtroom. You're going to lose all of your money, like everything, your entire life savings, and it's just gone. You don't get it back. Ever. Like, ever. You will work off the rest of your fucking life trying to pay it off. And you will have debt until the fucking grave. I'm not kidding about that. It's like, people think that once you die, your debt is gone. No, it's not. It gets passed down. I hope you realize that. They will continue stupid. Don't go into debt.
Paying the bills, paying rent, paying off my credit cards. Should I just stop paying off my credit cards? That's my question.
And the first comment I see, if you aren't trying to move or rent something, just pay the minimum and let that 20 to 30% interest accrue every single month. Because I guess if we do go into a recession, everybody's debt just gets absolved, right?
No.
Isn't that the thought process? If you use your credit score at all, in parentheses, renting, like I said before, keep paying it. I don't know, but personally, I'm getting a new credit card to not pay off at this pace. Great choice there, man. You need credit to play the game. You cannot find a place to rent or even a car to rent. Pay your bills down, avoid interest, pay credit card bills on time every month. Another comment from you guys, I hate it when people say I'm a mortgage
That is exactly
lender.
what
Take
you're
this
supposed
advice
to
from
do.
me.
That is
And
how you
all their
build your
advice is
credit.
how to get a mortgage from them. LOL, they hardly do anything. They're
That's
not
literally what a
banking
credit card
geniuses.
is
And
for.
I thought this was a good transition into a
Credible
lot of other
transactions.
tips that I also
That is
found
the
when it
reason
came
why
to
it is
not
called a
paying
credit
debts
card.
off, having a whole bunch of loans. There are tons of videos just trying to sell you their business so they could also
stupid.
make money off of it.
Do not. Like, of all people, how am I the person that knows
pay
this?
Any collection with your hard
Hey, I just want to let you know, I dropped out.
You do not owe them
I dropped
anything.
out. I didn't
If you
even
know
make
what
it to
you credit,
10th grade.
let me
Nope,
know.
I gave
Follow
up.
for more.
Let me
That's
know.
right.
Follow for more, please. Use my business and just look at this comment
These people
section.
probably
I need
went
help,
through
help,
college.
help, more information, please.
Like,
help. The more you start
what the
looking up
fuck?
loans or being in debt
What
on
the fuck,
social
man?
media, the more accounts and sponsored posts you'll see like this.
Never ever pay your credit card on the due date. it won't improve your credit score.
Use
No,
my
it
AI
won't.
software instead.
He's right.
Credit Fixer, the
It won't
AI
improve your credit
repair
score because you're
software.
already
So I
in
guess you can't
fucking
even
debt,
have a human
dumbass.
being trying to help people with their credit score. It needs to be artificial intelligence now. With all the problems and issues that's brought in recently. Here's
However,
another one that
if you're
equips
not
with somebody
already in
using
debt,
to be able
and
to make
you
higher
do
returns
pay
and
it
more
off
money
on
as
time,
if it's really that easy.
guess
Why
what?
you should
Your
stop
credit
paying off
does
all your
get
debt.
built.
Debt is okay. It's the cost of money. If I can get $100,000, $200,000, $1 million at really cheap money, like 3, 4, 5. 5 is like my limit because I know how to put money to work at 15, 18, 20. That's called an arbitrage. So if I can get the money, yes, I might be $100,000 in debt. But if I put it to work at 15, I'm making 10%, 12% on that.
Exactly.
Money. Basically, $100,000 in debt can create $12,000 of new money to me.
Okay, so I'm not saying that this is not possible. Some people can
Exactly.
do this, but a lot of the people who would
she's absolutely fucking right. You can literally take a loan out and you can turn around and use it for a business, pay off all your business expenses, and you can make all of that money back. Then you can pay off your debt. Sure, it might take a little bit longer than it took to get the loan approved, but guess what? You're not in debt. Wow! Amazing.
be looking up and watching TikToks like this are probably also the ones that see people who have the Turo empire. They end up buying a fleet of vehicles to rent out and apparently make this super easy money off of Turo, and that just really is not the case anymore in 2025. Same story.
I can
with
see
all
why
the
you would do
influencers
that.
making it look like flipping houses is very quick and
But
easy. Just
I
get a
would-
loan
I
for
would
the
do
money.
that,
You don't
but
have
with
to flip the
houses.
house or
You
buy
know what
the
I mean?
vehicles to rent them out, and yeah, you'll
Like
double your money right
I'll go
away.
and like,
It'll
you
be
know,
super easy, and
buy
that's
one
just not what
house
happens
here,
in the majority
buy
of
one
the
house
cases.
here,
So I think listening to that
and get
kind of
myself
advice,
something,
especially if
you
you
know,
don't really know what
small,
you're doing,
cheap to
can
deal
be
with.
extremely
The other two
dangerous, and also goes with a
are my
comment from
source
one
of
you guys'
income.
kids. The 10% returns on the stock market aren't guaranteed.
Voila.
But the interest
Like,
rate
I
on
literally
your
don't
loans
have
and
to do
credit cards
anything.
are. Think about it, because we also saw an
Literally
example
just
very
sit there
similar
and
to the
wait
last
for
clip.
payment.
Say she did get a loan for $100,000 with a
All I gotta
5%
do
interest
is
rate.
have
Well, the
enough
stock
money to
market
purchase that
averages
to
a
begin
10%
with.
return every year, so just stick that $100,000
If I were to
into
take
the
out a
S&P,
loan,
you'll get a 5% return,
I
be
could
able to
literally
pay back
sit
the
there
loan, and
on
you're
my
getting money
ass
for free,
and let
right?
somebody
But the
else
return
pay
in the
off
stock
my debt.
market is not concrete. We've seen both good and bad years since COVID, so just taking
Like, if
this
you just
advice
use
at
your
face
brain,
value can end up
you can make shit
destroying
work.
you financially.
This is just a reminder that if a company you owe a debt to has sent that debt to collections, never pay that debt to the company. Never attempt to make payments on that debt to the original company because they no longer own that debt. And the second they sold that debt to a collections company, you are also relinquished from having to pay them. Because essentially how that debt collection system
No.
works is that eventually
You are incorrect.
when they call you, the original company
You
calls
still
you,
have to
emails
pay
you,
off that
sends you
debt.
letters
However,
about paying that
you
debt.
are correct
Eventually,
about you
they're
don't
just gonna
have to
give
pay
up. And they're gonna say,
that
okay,
specific
we're
company
not going to get this money back
anymore.
on our own.
However,
So what
you
we're gonna
do
is
have
we're
to
gonna
pay
sell
collection.
your debt to a third-party company,
So-
and we're going to say, if you are successful in retrieving that money, you give us back X%, but you keep the bulk of it. And by that definition, by that sale, the debt collection company now owns that debt. Now, if you want to pay the debt collection company, that is your prerogative, yes or no. But what these companies will do is they will still continue to send you those letters, emails, and phone calls about paying the debt to them. But if you then try and pay the debt to them, they will happily take your money, but legally speaking, your debt is still open to the third-party collections company.
So we'll just go straight to the comments after that. Yeah, I got sued, so be careful. How much should you owe? I had this happen to me too. Same. I live in Northern California. They can and will sue you and take money out of your paycheck. So yes, be careful on how you want to go about it. I've been sued, so I don't believe any of this. You should probably start off with this applies to the US. Debt collection is very different in Canada. No, they don't give up. I get calls numerous times a day by the same company for almost 2 years. Once though went far enough that the debt collector actually sent an officer out with paper to garnish my wages for 3 months. Yeah, but I have something in collections that keeps me from buying a home. It's coming up during the housing counseling and bringing my credit score down. I've been served by a debt collector though, came to my house at 9 p.m. There is a lot of comments like that in this section, so people I guess don't believe that they'd be taken to court for this debt. I guess they think that they would just give up after calling for a couple weeks or a few months, and that is just not the case. They want their money. Another comment from you guys there's no sense of relief like having next month's rent or mortgage set aside, the electric and phone bill paid, and then
Bro's
getting
bumpy.
a paycheck and owing nobody. It's totally worth it. And unfortunately, it looks like some of the people we've seen in this
Bro got
video
the
will
whole
never
block
know that
bumping.
feeling, because apparently not paying your debt is a status symbol now.
Not paying your Klarna debt almost feels like
It's a
the
status
new
symbol now?
status
What?
symbol. More and more people are being
Are
forced
you
into
fucking
overdrive
stupid?
and debt just to be able to afford having fun on the weekend. And fun is the
Alright.
new luxury.
Alright.
There's like a collective activism and everyone just being like, you know
You know,
what?
I feel like Jackson
No,
at this point
I'm
has
not
more
gonna
common
pay you
sense
back.
than this.
And I'm not going to let
And that's
you shame me.
really
Again,
sad.
until they take you to court and
I
garnish
really
your
hope
wages.
I'm wrong.
Maybe your car that you have finally ends up dying and you have to buy
Or
something
maybe he
new.
just
Whether
has
it's
the
brand new
same
or
amount of
used,
common
you're
sense
most
as
likely
all
still
these
going to
people
have
do.
to get a loan. And if your credit score is destroyed, you have bills sent to collections, that is not going to be a pretty sight. Slippery
Yeah,
slope
no.
until you're
If you have
10,000
bills
plus
sent
in
to
credit card
collections,
debt
guess
and
what?
nobody will save you. But I
Oh,
guess
it's in the
fun
works. It's in
comes
the process.
first. Very
You
similar
about
to
to
the
get
doom
fucked
spending videos
in
I've
your
made on this
ass.
channel. Another comment from you guys from an older guy: not paying your debts will affect you in the long term in ways that are not immediately apparent. Lots of things geared to your credit score, higher insurance costs, harder
Yup.
to rent an apartment,
Yup.
good employers with job openings will
Yup.
run a credit check.
Yup.
Many things in life will become harder and stay
Yup.
that way for a long time. You've
Yup.
dug
See,
a
you
hole
can't
that
even
you
get a
will
job.
never get out of. And there are some people
It's
who
like,
are
damn,
just
bro.
crashing out, going on debt strikes and losing it on TikTok.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out. What I'm gonna say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt
I don't have
strike
any debt to pay.
2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will. I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are. We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot.
I mean, I know I'm saying the same things over and over again, but the only thing that's going to happen is that your life is just going to become worse. I think this comment from you guys also goes well with this. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes a wage garnishment, car repo, collections, and credit card frozen by the banks to make people realize what kind of trouble they're really in. Because a lot of these types of clips, I'm not paying debt, is from young people, haven't really been in the real world for too long, not really thinking long term what's going to happen in 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, we have a perfect example right here.
Why are you not paying them?
Because why would I?
No, like if it starts back up, if none of them are forgiven,
I mean,
you'll just not pay them?
yeah.
And that hurts your credit. You don't care?
Yeah.
It might go to collections and people can come after you and
Yeah.
potentially sue you. You do not care.
No.
It sounds very easy to not care when you're 20 or 22 years old, but when you're in your 30s or 40s and you're still in the same position that you were when you're 20, I feel like a lot of these people will start to think differently, but they will be very deep in the hole that they dug. A couple comments back to back from you guys: don't pay your debts, see what happens to your credit score. Everyone has a plan until they don't. They'll garnish yours, and if you're married, spouse's paycheck by 25% till it's paid in full. So this goes into the next clip where it affects more than just yourself.
Did you hear about the man who's considering calling off his whole wedding because his fiancée refuses to sign a prenup after he found out that she has massive credit card debt?
So if you're on this path of reckless spending and not paying any of your debt, this can definitely affect your future relationships because, I mean, who would want to bring in all that financial baggage into their life? This is not a one-off story either. There are many like this online where they'll decide to not marry this person because the debt will become their problem as well. Same when we're talking about the dating scene as well. If you're not on the same page financially, there is a very large percentage down the road you would end up breaking up or divorcing. But I guess there are a lot of people who are only living in the moment and only really caring about what's happening right now.
Okay, so I've been getting a lot of comments like that. And I want to address it because I know it's all fun and games and we laugh about it like, oh, I don't really care about a credit score. Like, I got more problems in my life than a credit score. But the reason I'm making this is because credit is really important. You don't just need it to buy a house. You need it if you're trying to get an apartment, if you're trying to get a car. Car insurance right now is insanely high, and guess what? They use your credit score for that. A lot of jobs now, especially in the financial industry, they look at your credit like they do. You may not see it. There's a whole other report on your credit report that's for soft inquiries, and it won't show you on like Credit Karma or something. That's why I always say, look at your full credit report. You would be surprised. Sometimes even your utilities will check to see where your credit is at.
But no matter how many videos you make, some people are just stuck in their own ways. But in the larger picture, the empire is collapsing. The systems are failing. It's all made up for control. I feel like people have been talking like this since basically the beginning of time. So I mean, I guess you can't help everybody. But hopefully this was eye-opening to at least some people out there. You're most likely going to live a lot longer than you think, especially if you're in that YOLO mindset and thinking about the country and all these governments are going to collapse in the immediate future. I don't know. That type of doomer mentality seems to only hurt people's lives. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.
I'm gonna get myself whatever the hell I want. I'm never telling myself no. They say don't buy it unless you can afford it twice. I couldn't even afford it once. Still got it though.
The truth is, I don't want to be financially. I don't want to be financially responsible. I don't think it was my calling, and I hate to walk into anything but my purpose.
In 2022, I was making $126,000 a year. 2023, I was laid off. I had no emergency fund and ended up in $72,000 worth of debt.
Okay, so today we got a classic for the channel. We're going to be taking a look at people who are living above their means. And this is not because they have no options and they have to put groceries on credit cards just to survive. Nope, we have people going above and beyond, whether they think that they deserve it or they just want to show off to people on social media. We have a lot to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with this clip.
I may be 24 years old and $28,000 in debt, but I work 2 full-time jobs pretty much, financially independent, live alone, pay everything on my own. So I'm gonna get myself a sweet treat. I'm gonna get myself whatever the hell I want. I'm never telling myself no. They say don't buy it unless you can afford it twice. I couldn't even afford it once. Still got it though.
So a couple things with this one. She said that she was living on her own, paying her own bills, but then simultaneously being in $28,000 worth of debt. So it doesn't really sound like everything's getting paid off. And something we're going to see throughout this entire video, just feeding into the instant gratification. I'm going to get whatever I want whenever I want. I deserve it. I work 2 full-time jobs. However, that same line of thinking is eating into most of your salary. I also find this kind of odd to record this and put it up on the internet in the first place. I don't know what type of reaction she was trying to look for, or maybe she was just hoping to go viral to get that dopamine hit. But I asked you guys in an older video, do you know someone who lives above their means? Everyone in my family. I'm the only one who knows if I make X amount of money, I can only spend X. I have a coworker that got a jacked up truck and he didn't even know what the price was going to be before deciding to get it. Wow. My sister-in-law, she has the money to go to Disneyland all the time, but can't even afford her kids' tuition for school. My father-in-law sadly pays for it. She gets Amazon packages like crazy and throws parties all the time, while her husband works hard. Sad. My brother, his image is everything, doesn't do delayed gratification, wants everything now, and it has to be grand in size. But now we can move on to an example of some pretty absurd family spending.
I'm currently down a rabbit hole with my finances, and I'm thinking this stuff is really interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys for true transparency. I'm looking at how much I spent last year versus this year, and I'm on track to spend about the same. And to give you a glimpse of my life, I am a working mom. My husband works. We have twin girls that are 3.5 years old, and we live in Pennsylvania, not far from Philadelphia. And we spend about $140,000 a year. First time I heard that number, I was like, whoa, that seems like a lot of effing money. Like, how are we spending that much money a year? But if you calculate in mortgage, interest, childcare, food, gas, like all the expenses, that's what you get. So now I'm curious, like, is that how much other people are spending too? Or am I way overspending? Am I underspending? Like,
okay, so if you thought that clip was bad, the comment section blows it out of the water. We spend almost $140,000 on our mortgage alone, so I think you're doing great. I spend that much without kids. Hope this helps. I'm in California and spend the same, girl. Life is expensive, and I don't like to cook. We live in so spend that. Life is crazy these days. Do I make anywhere close to that amount? Definitely not. Do I spend my entire salary? Yes. With a heart from the 11 here. We're in good shape. We have
Great.
4 kids, spend $100,000 on a mortgage, $180,000 in tuition, and $120,000 in credit cards. The expenses are exhausting. Is this just a bait comment? I hope it is. And now we can go over to a clip with an actual lottery winner squandering all of it and going into debt.
I'm a former lottery winner.
Whoa,
I won $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah, $1 million on a scratch ticket in the state of Virginia when I was 28, and I'm 36. I have gone through it all, so I am a part of that statistic that, 80 or 90% of lottery winners lose it. I swore that I wouldn't be, but here I am, and...
what was the take-home after the...
$766,000 was what the actual ticket was worth. It wasn't actually worth $1 million. I know that's what they advertised, and then I paid taxes on that, so take-home was $555.
And over the span of 8 years, you drained that $555 in your bank account to zero.
Yes, sir.
For the benefit of the listeners and a dark curiosity,
You
can you tell us where that money went?
$500,000 in 5 years, dude?
To buy the ticket, right? So that never stopped.
Oh my
More so
God.
with casinos, sports gambling, etc.
I've only, like, dude, the max amount that I've
Well,
spent
this is clearly, there's
in a year is
addictive
$2,000.
behavior here. Have you dealt with that over the last 8 years? Are you still grappling with that?
Yes.
Now I know
Like,
at the end of the day, $500,000
in 1
isn't
year,
something to completely
the maximum
retire
is
and be
$2,000.
able to live out
If
your
we
days doing
multiply that
whatever you
by
want.
5, that's
However,
what,
I don't think I
10
have to tell
grand
you that's a significant amount
per
of money.
5
But for some
years.
people, it's just never enough when we're talking about gambling. If I
What
go
the
to a
fuck
casino
is wrong
this
with your
kind of money,
budgeting,
I could
dude?
double it, and then I could be a millionaire. And rarely does
What
that
the
ever
fuck?
happen. You just develop a gambling problem. Now that $500,000 has disappeared, the gambling problem's still there, and your life is spiraling out of
So
control.
you're telling me
The first
you had
comment here, he did not win a lot of money. I didn't realize that everybody had a spare $500,000
And instead of
in their
going
bank
and getting
account
a
at all
job,
times. Like I just said, you can't go and retire off of that money,
you
but
spent
you
all
could
of it.
completely pay off your house or put that in investments, get returns
Are
every
you
year,
fucking
making your financial burden
stupid?
much easier to deal with for the rest of your life. $550,000 would change my life. There's also
Straight
people
the
that
fuck
didn't
up.
let you get taxed, getting taxed for
$550,000.
lottery
I could
winning
live
is
off of that
insane.
for the
They
next
will tax
20
you for
years, bro.
absolutely anything.
You
Like
decided to
that
get a
ass.
Porsche.
Yeah.
And you can't pay for groceries? What do you think this car's worth?
And I bought it for 89, and maybe I could get 90,000 for it. I don't think it depreciates as much as other cars.
What kind of
Literally, I could buy a car, I could buy a house, I could buy 5 fucking
You got
houses if I
65 on it.
wanted
You could
to.
probably sell it for 64. You could sell a Porsche today, dude.
And then what do I drive?
No,
The
don't
car
get
that
me
I got
wrong, the
is
fucking
pre-owned.
property
It's not a
tax
brand
on
new
that would be
one.
So I'll
absolutely
spend
insane.
$1,500 a
But
month on a used car. Okay.
think about that. If I was
Well,
able to buy
customer
5
service is
houses,
excellent, and it was only
I would turn around and
20,000
rent
more than what I
every
paid
one
for
of
the
them,
Ford
and then
Edge.
just have
I've never paid
passive
$20,000 a
income
month
for the
for
rest of
customer
my
service
life.
before.
Okay, so we got a ton of stuff in this clip. So looking up used Porsche Macan turbos, a 2024 is around $43,000. I'm seeing 50, 34. This one's only $19,000 with over 100,000 miles. 22,000, 45. So even selling it for 65 after you paid it 90 is a reach. I'm guessing she saw
It is,
some
yes.
videos about 911s holding their value pretty well recently. So she just thought that all Porsches across the board did the same thing, and that is not the case. So she's going to
No.
get rinsed selling that vehicle, but it was worth the $1,500 a month because they also have really nice customer service at the dealership. It doesn't even really make sense. And the other comment that it was only $20,000 more than her Ford Edge, does that mean she previously bought a Ford Edge for $70,000? There is
What
no
the
way.
fuck is
there
wrong
has to
with
have been
you?
a 30% interest rate then. Just a whole host
Holy
of terrible
shit.
decisions just to be able to drive around with that Porsche logo on the car. The top comment is just a screenshot of another Porsche Macan for $36,000. She bought a $36,000 Porsche for $90,000. She thinks the Macan
Oh
is
my
worth
God.
$90,000. $89,000 for a pre-owned Macan soccer mom car is diabolical.
Holy
but if you
shit,
watch
you
this
got
channel, you know
scammed
there's unlimited
hardcore.
content when talking about vehicles.
Like,
Homeless
oh
right now, but
my.
still in a Charger. Oh man, calm down everyone. He doesn't have his priorities straight, but remember, he's still got a Charger. Honestly, I'd rather have a nice car than a house. That's a pretty sound financial decision in today's world, but whatever.
I
Who
mean,
cares?
shit.
Just buy anything that you want. Doesn't matter if you
It's-
file
yeah.
bankruptcy because you
I
couldn't
mean,
pay it back in
you
the
know,
first place. Just go
you
do
can
it
get
again
places.
and be in a debt cycle forever.
So when I post my
You know,
video
if you
about
have,
buying
you know,
a
you
new
get kicked
truck,
out of somewhere, you got somewhere to go.
If you're doing a bankruptcy, some people are saying this and saying that. No, check it out. You could do a bankruptcy, and the same month that you go to court and get it discharged, and they send you the paperwork saying it's discharged, you go into a dealership, like over here at Gresham Dodge, and they'll put you in a vehicle, a brand new vehicle. I originally came in here after my bankruptcy,
and they got me a $60,000 loan on a pickup truck right after my bankruptcy. So if you want any of these new Jeeps, or you want some of the new Rams that are over there,
it's not even about want, dude. It's about need. Do you need that vehicle?
Is $1,400.
Do you need that
Come in here
vehicle?
the
If
same
you
month as discharge
need
paperwork,
that
finance a
vehicle,
brand new vehicle, and drive
then
off the lot and
do
start
what
building
you
your thing.
need to do
Sure,
to
start
get
building
that
your credit.
vehicle.
I highly doubt the same people who just filed for bankruptcy are going to be able to afford to make payments on a $60,000
I'm going to give you a piece of
vehicle,
advice.
with
Taking out a
obviously
loan
terrible interest
is
rates.
not
I also
the
like
best
to add,
option.
Of course, the vehicles he was advertising are some of the worst
It's
cars
the
you can get
easiest
on the
one,
market.
yes.
The Jeeps, the Rams,
But
anything
it's not the
Stellantis
best.
are just incredibly unreliable and depreciate very quickly. Coming right out of bankruptcy and going $60,000 in debt on a truck is wild. Yeah, after
But yeah, no, if I were to take a loan out on a vehicle, I would make sure that bitch is coming straight from the
because it
dealership.
feels nice driving around in a brand
You
new
is not getting
2026
any
Ram
loan money.
1500, even though
I'm
you
not
have
going
no
into debt
business in
for
doing
a
so.
vehicle
We got
that
a
will
comment
break
from you
down
guys
in the
right
next
here.
2
Pro
years.
ball players prove on a daily
Absolutely
basis that you can
fucking
make
not.
$10 million a year and spend $11 million, and things are going to go wrong. That's why I think financial literacy is so important in today's world. Along with so many people living above your means, it doesn't matter if you make $10,000 a year or $10 million. You spend more than what's coming in, you're going to end up broke.
Zero.
And I think
Yeah,
this is a
you're gonna
perfect
end up with
transition
zero.
into some of the influencers and the amount of money they spend.
How the f does this degenerate make so much money? How does he do so well? How do you afford a Ferrari? You just moved to Miami. You're doing all this crazy.
I do spend a lot of my money. In terms of my peers around me, I definitely spend more of my income than them. Like, I know other people probably save their money, but the problem is I've had such solid cash flow for literally 5 years, and it's ruined my idea of saving money to me. For 5 years, bro, I've had fantastic amount of cash flow that I'm so grateful for. Every month I'm spending 30, 40 grand, but I'm still making 60, 70, $80,000 or $100,000 a month.
Okay, so let's
Holy
say that that's
shit.
actually true. 5 years of solid income in the grand scheme of things, along
Bro
with
is
this kind of
ranking
regular
them
spending, is
fucking-
not nearly as
He is-
long as you think.
Nah,
I know
bro.
in the influencer world, you
He is
can blow up and
collecting.
within
He
a
is
few
straight
months
collecting,
just
bro.
completely disappear and all of your income dries up. But even with him making more money than he's spending over the past 5 years,
Like,
whenever
dude, if
that
he
day does
saved his
inevitably
money
come
for
and people
even
stop
1
watching,
month,
you're going to be so used to spending ludicrous
Like,
amounts of money.
bro would have,
24/7,
like,
that you're still going to end up losing
so
all of it.
much.
But like I said, I
Like
know
literally
everybody's
5
wondering how
months,
much
and bro is
was I
halfway to a
making.
millionaire
I want to
already.
say
Like,
during the years of 2017 through like 2020, 2021, maybe the beginning of it, on average, I think like my yearly salary was around like $300 to almost $400,000 from social media. Where the f was the money going? I had moved into a
You spent it.
I moved into my first solo apartment, high-rise apartment in Brooklyn, and my rent there was 4.3, so there's that in rent. I was also spending an average of anywhere between like $6,000 to $8,000 a month on my credit card because I was just buying myself whatever the hell I wanted at the time. I was also spending a lot of money on all of my friends because I was making the most amount of money at the time and I just wanted to like spend it on everybody else. And then, you know, I was just doing stupid shit at the time because I had like a lot of money. Like I would go to the strip club with my friends and spend $1,000. Like it was ridiculous.
Now, what I would say is that I hope that this doesn't happen in today's world, 2026, because there are so many stories like this of people almost 10 years ago when social media popularity was exploding. They thought this was going to last forever. I could spend as much money as I want. It's all right. And then the popularity and money fades and they come to realize that they wasted so much of their cash. But on the other hand, the previous clip we saw of somebody spending a crazy amount of money was a pretty recent clip. So I don't know. It just seems like these clips are going to constantly roll out in the future. But we can move on to the insane thought process for buy now, pay later loans.
You got kicked off Affirm.
It makes sense to me. You're getting what you want when you want it, but you're only paying it in fourths. So like 1/4 and then 1/4 and 1/4.
Yeah, but why'd you get kicked off?
I bought my mom a purse for her birthday.
How much was the purse?
I think it was like $400.
You bring in $50,000 a year. Rent's only $500.
$570.
Hearing that number of rent's usually the biggest ongoing expense. So maybe it was so high that she's almost forced to afterpay for groceries. No.
No.
Never even heard of getting kicked off the firm.
I'm pretty sure it's in collections.
So the farther we got into the clip, the worse it got. One of the biggest expenses for anybody is where they live, renting or mortgage, and her rent being only $570 would put her in a way better financial situation than most people out there today, but it doesn't matter. She ends up getting banned from a firm because she can't pay back her loans for all the crap she's buying. Amazing. We got another comment from you guys right here. In Bulgaria, this is so common, it's comical at this point. People take out loans just to impress other people they don't care about, cars, bags, phones, clothes, you name it. And at the end of the month, they call you to ask to lend some money. Honestly, I know this economy is tough right now, but borrowing money from loan sharks just so you can gamble or buy something to impress someone else is just silly. But people love to share every aspect of their life on social media, even if they can't afford what they're showing off. We got another series of photos with a bunch of people hopping on this trend. I should have saved money to buy a house in 2025. Anyway, here's me at the NBA Finals. Indiana football game, we have Mardi Gras. Clemson LSU football game, the NFL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, a Jonas Brothers concert, another Pacers playoff game, a Bills game in Buffalo, Sabrina Carpenter concert, WNBA playoffs, Disney World, Eastern Conference Finals, and moving to another state. This goes on and on. Told my husband we're going to save money this year. And then they bought a new car, bought a house as well, ripped out the carpet, flooring, and painting, and more remodeling,
Hey, look,
changing the back.
You got your priorities straight.
Flash. Then the husband gets a brand new pickup truck, and later that same year, I get a new car because I want more room. 2 cars in 1 year, and to top it off, an 8-day vacation. We should really save money this year. Yeah, you're right. Disney trip number 1, Nashville girls trip, birthday cruise, Disney trip number 2, Disney trip number 3, and going to Universal. This entire video could have just been this trend alone. It's insane to me how little people take this seriously.
My favorite time of the month is when my husband decides to go through all of our credit cards. And I'm just getting texts from him asking what all of the purchases were.
The truth is, I don't want to be financially responsible. I don't think it was my calling.
You don't have a choice.
And I hate to walk into anything but my purpose.
You don't have an option in that.
That's the truth.
It's very interesting seeing these clips where seemingly
You have to be
people's entire
financially
personality
responsible
is just
whether
overconsumption
or
and
not
being
you want to.
materialistic. We got a
Yeah,
perfect example right here. A
what
message
do you
to my
fucking
daughter's
mean?
future husband. This is how she spends Christmas with a Sephora bag on the way back to her suite at the Atlantis. We're just gonna go straight over to the comments. We're teaching ours to stay away from the materialistic ones. The middle class cosplaying as rich. The Atlantis isn't the flex you think it is. The wealth is silent. You guys are loud. This is so weird. Just spend time with your kid. Don't use them as a weird prop. OMG, Sephora, I could never dream of affording that. Wow, you're so rich. I don't know, some people online are very odd, but a comment from you guys goes perfectly with these types of clips. The fact that people want to remain financially ignorant of their situation is remarkable to me. Until one day you're going to have to face it, and it'll be a rude awakening.
In 2022, I was making $126,000 a year. 2023, I was laid off, I had no emergency fund, and ended up in $72,000 worth of debt. It took me 6 months to find a job, and here we are. 2 years later, we've only knocked down that debt by $5,000. And all of this could have been avoided if it's budgeting. A 7-year-old version of me must have thought that budgeting and keeping that much money was contradictory because it never crossed my mind. Looking back at it now is so painful because where could I be right now if I had just been more responsible then? Right now,
True.
My job doesn't cover I have to work doing side hustles just to make the minimums on my bills. And I have to work more beyond that, afford groceries and gas without going more into debt. My retirement plan is non-existent, and if it sounds like I'm trying to scare you, I am. Because I can't do anything to fix my mistakes. And the only thing that I can do is bring this nightmare that is my financial situation out there, showing them what can happen if you don't take care of your finances.
But I think especially that salary she was talking about that she had in 2022, $126,000. A lot of people start to change when you get to that $10,000 a month threshold, because in most areas that is a lot of money. Of course, if you live in super expensive areas in California or New York City, it's not going to go nearly as far. But for most other areas, you would be pretty comfortable. So there's no need to save or have an emergency fund. I'm getting those checks bi-weekly. Until unfortunately you get laid off, and I mean in this job market trying to find something else is going to be extremely difficult, and now she's paying her minimums on $70,000 worth of credit card debt. That situation's just getting worse every single day.
Hey, who's the Bank of America checking account?
That's mine.
Yes.
Okay, we started with $3.44. We have 2 children. That's disgusting. To do the spending that I saw you guys do while starting a month with $3.44 is disgusting.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Actually,
Children.
though.
You guys are children.
Our kids love donuts.
And you won't even hold them accountable. You'll just cope giggle all day. Going out to eat. How much? Last month. What do you think? What would we guess?
800.
Okay. What would you guess?
1,000.
Okay. $1,122.73. What the f is wrong with you guys?
Last
that is
in
more,
1 month.
well, actually, with the 2 cars, that's not true, but it's close to your minimum payments.
That was also though because he was working 6 days on, 8 days off. Or
pack him a meal.
He did take lunches, but breakfast and dinner most
Pack him
nights
a
he
breakfast, pack him a dinner. I don't give a fuck. You guys are in debt. You can't hit your goals. You guys don't have anything in retirement. And you have no emergency fund. Not having an emergency fund is an emergency. What are you guys going to do if an emergency happens?
It's just going to go on the credit card and the whole situation's going to get worse. Along with being responsible, raising 2 children, having absolutely no money in the bank account but still going out to eat, spending over $1,000 a month is crazy. Now this next clip is an interesting one because it starts off as a sob story, but it definitely changes the more you look into it.
And then this is just kind of sad as far as they're behind now.
Like many hardworking parents, fiancés Arthur Swayze and Apollonia Cesaris just wanted a night to themselves Sunday. And what better opportunity than the Jonas Brothers concert at Little Caesars Arena? They drove all the way from Monroe for their fun night out, parked right here on the street on East Elizabeth around 5 p.m. and got some dinner before heading down to LCA for the 7:30 show. But when they came back around 11:30 p.m., nothing.
Started walking back, and then we were like, well, where did we park at? And we were like, we know we parked over here somewhere.
Their 2014 olive green Ford Edge had been stolen. And not only is it the family's only mode of transportation to work and school for their 3 children, it's also the only way Swayze has been able to get to his doctor's appointments after recently finding out some life-altering news. In that car was also Cesaris' purse and wallet, a car seat, and hidden in the trunk, the children's Christmas presents.
Okay, so this news story was just hitting it out of the park. Crazy sob story. But we head over to the comment section. Detroit police confirmed it was repossessed and not stolen. It wasn't stolen. It was confirmed by the police department that it was repoed. So now it changes to you not being able to afford your car payments, but you still went to a concert, had a whole bunch of valuable items in the car along with presents. I don't know how much their payment was for the Edge, but I venture to guess that those Jonas Brother tickets would be a pretty solid payment. Here we have another lottery winner that actually blows the first example out of the water, $13.3 million.
My dad won $13.3 million from the lottery. He took the cash payout, so he got, like almost like half of that. And I'm just gonna give you guys some more background on how,
So that's like around
money.
6
Like I
million.
told you guys, he ended up running away to Vegas,
If
bought a
you
house.
factor in the
gave the lot,
taxes, it's
spent a lot of
probably
time
like
at
around
Bunny Ranch.
5 million after
He
that.
spent a lot of his money on heavy equipment like skid steers and excavators and things like that. He wanted to start a company. And
That's
he
insane.
With it. He got
Gold made
cars and,
$5 million
all the luxuries,
off of the lottery,
really the
bro.
sunglasses. He took trips with his new girlfriend. They went to Hawaii. So he won in 2014, and he was pretty much broke by 2023.
So this one's a little bit different of a situation compared to the earlier one. Even taking half of that from the taxes, $6 million, is
Yeah, I'm gonna say, nigga, you had 6 million, bro. You were a fucking millionaire. How did you fuck that up?
Miles an hour, went to Vegas immediately with the gambling, buying houses, going to the Bunny Ranch, which just is insane. Had the thought of starting a construction company, getting the very expensive equipment needed, and not going through with it. So it's just a massive waste of money. And within just a few years,
should've gone
that's
through
how
with it, man.
$6 million evaporates.
You would have been making around 6 million
I know
every
multiple
year,
people on
bro.
Wall Street who are literally living paycheck to paycheck despite receiving 6-figure or in some instances even 7-figure bonuses. And you
I was
may
gonna say, if you own the
how is that
construction
even
company-
possible? You can receive a bonus that is hundreds of thousands of dollars or even $1 million plus and still be living paycheck to paycheck. And I'll tell you the first reason is taxes. Taxes when you make that much money are crazy. You can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. But the second reason is these people tend to get out over their skis. They tend to indulge in something that I like to call lifestyle creep. They have a fancy penthouse apartment. They go on luxury vacations. They eat at Michelin star restaurants. They get bottle service at a club, which could be tens of thousands of dollars. every single weekend, Friday and Saturday night. In Wall Street, a lot of times your variable pay, your bonus can be a really large percentage of your total pay. My largest ever bonus that I received on Wall Street was actually
back to watching the world's financial problems.
roughly 60% of the total pay I receive for that year. And so what people do is they don't actually make enough money from their base pay throughout the year to support their lifestyle. So they actually burn cash. They spend more than they're getting every paycheck throughout the year under the pretense, under the notion that they're going to get a big bonus at the end of the year and be able to support their lifestyle from that.
And that sounds extremely dangerous to me because you have no idea how much that bonus is going to be if you even get it. The entire job market is very fickle right now. Just imagine getting laid off when you've been spending more money than you've earned for months on end and then your income goes to zero. But the top comment I thought was really funny on this video, answer.
I don't have to imagine it.
From the financial managers. You really can't make this kind of stuff up.
But you want to know
that's all I got
something?
for you guys today.
My
Let me know
income
what you
is
guys
zero.
think in the comments down below.
Guess how much
YouTube
debt
thinks
I'm
you'll like
in.
this video popping up on screen right now. But hopefully you guys
Zero.
enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Crazy. Oh. Ooh. Ew.
He got stung right through the back.
I know it might seem like this guy's overreacting, falling to the ground here, but trust me, he's not.
Video that you guys just watched shows a man walking out of a shop. Here we can see he has a bag in his hand. He looks pretty happy. Out of nowhere, his hand flies out, he falls to the floor, and you can see that he's clearly in pain. Couldn't find any articles about this video, but according to my research, this guy was in a fish shop buying a scorpion fish for his aquarium. We'll typically buy these scorpion fish because they're very unique looking and they're extremely hardy, meaning they adapt to aquarium life very well. That being said, scorpion fish are venomous. In fact, they're one of the most venomous types of fish, and although stings from these guys are typically not fatal, it's extremely painful. Given the fact that these spines are so sharp as well, what likely happened here is this guy was trying to cradle the bag and stabilize it, and the spine just went straight through it and punctured his hand.
He got stung right through the bag.
Damn. Whoa, what do you know? Well, what do you know? Isn't that crazy? It shows up on the homepage. That is the first time I've ever seen anything of mine show up on the homepage of YouTube. No. Isn't that Pause that. No description has been added to this video. Well, there was a description, but I guess not. Yeah. Going blind for aesthetic. Why don't you just use colored contacts instead of tattooing your fucking iris? I feel like it would be a better idea to just use contact lenses. You know, something that's not gonna make you fucking go blind. Alright. When woke teachers get destroyed by little kids. My personal opinion on that is be whatever the fuck you want to be. I don't care. It does not involve me. I don't understand what the thing is. It's like when people like, you know what I mean? It's like people are like, oh, you can accept us because we're this or that. I just want to let you know, in a world where nobody is accepted for who they are, nobody is accepted for who they are. So, regardless of what gender, race, blah, 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 transgender or not, it's going to be all the same. Either fucking way. You're going to go through the exact same amount of shit from the exact same amount of people. And they are going to do the exact same thing every single time. I'm just saying. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee the pattern. You really can't. Garage sales? Why is that a... Why is this the thing? This is content that people make? Flipping video games?
4747, tax free. That's how much you'll save each year with Perry Johnson. This is my friend Chris. From the outside, he looks like a regular guy, but he's secretly turned his passion for hunting for video games into $50,000 in profit last year, all while working a full-time job. Today, I'm taking you inside his business to see exactly how he did it, where he finds games, and how you can start doing the same.
Alright, so we got a copy of 2K14, you know, a game worth virtually nothing. Those for $18 on Amazon.
So that's $11 after fees. So that's a $7 profit, and we're like 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Hey, folks. So just some $7 lunch
He's
money from that
making
first
money
stop.
off
That's
of
the
this
first
shit.
stop of many that Chris is going to take us on today, looking for that sweet, sweet video game profit.
See what we can find.
All right, stop number 2 is Cash America Pawn. Chris, what's the best thing you've ever found in this stop?
So one time I asked them if they had any games coming out, and they brought out a bunch of Game Boy games for $2 a piece.
Solid. Finding anything in there?
Another 2K14, which would be our bread and butter.
Okay, nice. Jeez, you said that was a 20th anniversary.
I think it's 20th anniversary.
PS4 for $1,200. Do you mess much with consoles?
Try not to, unless it's a killer deal.
All right, so we had some decent luck in that Cash America here. What are we looking at here,
Too
Chris?
bad. Some more 2K14 grails for a couple bucks a piece.
And that goes for
You got $9 each. on those, so
after fees on Amazon to flip those.
a couple copies of Skyrim.
Oh dang, I didn't realize you got 2.
Quick flip those for what'd you say, $13?
13 bucks on quick flips?
$13. I paid $13 for the stack, so.
You paid, I think it was 12. Oh, after tax.
12, yeah.
So how many people do you think have walked by these games in this pawn
Bros
shop?
actually
probably
fucking
thousands.
making money off
Yeah,
this shit.
a couple of
Probably
sports games.
Maybe 10, 20 people at least.
So what everyone else, including the pawn shop, thought was junk, literally sold you for $3 a piece. You have $6 profit, $6 profit, $10 profit, $10 profit with a combination.
Bro
of
just made
Amazon quick
$41.
flips. So we're on our way to
And
another
spent, like,
Cash
not even
America
half
and
of
then
that.
another Goodwill. You were telling me though off
He
camera
literally
this
just
last
doubled
year,
his money.
This is your side hustle.
Yeah.
And it netted you what, $40,000-$50,000?
Yeah, basically going out 3 days a week and then maybe spend a couple hours listing stuff on Amazon.
So how much total time are you putting into this every week?
I would say under 20 hours. I do mortgages. Yeah, I just picked this up as kind of a side hustle and it kind of took off. You know, it started off mostly getting a lot of Goodwills, trying to find the best deals possible.
And how much
fucking
of it is the video
actually
games that
pretty
we're
smart.
hunting for today?
Bro
like
made
80.
his own business out of that. That's insane.
Did you know there is a Subnautica voice line that is so terrifying it actually made people quit the game? At first it may seem strange for someone to completely stop playing a game just because of a single voice line, but with a little more context, it will make a lot more sense as to why people stop playing. You see, during your playthrough of Subnautica, you will need to explore many biomes to discover new materials and pieces of technology in order to progress deeper into Subnautica's ocean. And during this exploration, a player will hear many different voice lines, which may or may not give them insight into the biome they're venturing into. However, if a player gets brave enough to venture extremely far out to sea, they will eventually reach the border of Subnautica's map, called the Void. The discovery of this biome will lead to a terrifying voice line being played, which warns you of the dangers up ahead. The combination of this voice line, the seemingly infinite void below, and the screeches of ghost leviathans charging towards you terrified new players and made them stop playing completely. Upon entering the void, this is what you would hear.
Warning, entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
Did you know there is a Subnautica voice line that is so terrifying it actually made people quit the game? At first it may seem strange for someone.
What the fuck does that even mean? What is this?
Nowadays, when you think about buying a gaming device, you're probably looking at a PS5, Xbox Series X, or a Switch 2.
No.
But somehow, a kid's console you've never heard
I'm
of is
looking at
actually outselling
a part
Xbox
for my
consoles now.
computer,
So I have it
actually.
here, and in this video, we'll unbox it, test it out, and see if it's worth the $250
But I don't
paid
need
for.
that.
Alright guys, and here it is. It
Because
is
my
called the
GPU
Next
still
Playground.
works.
You may or may not have heard of this thing, but it looks a bit ridiculous. Looks kind of like a green and yellow cube with a camera on it, because that's basically what it is. Is it even sealed? Is this new? We might have a Nintendo situation here where they don't even seal their consoles, but let's go ahead and pull this thing open and see what's inside. We got Bust a Move. It's even looking at you as soon as you open the box. It's kind of nifty and also a little bit creepy, but you know, it's not plugged in, so it should be fine, right? But taking this flap down, it says, congrats, you made a smart choice. Playground is designed to use technology for good by bringing active play into your family's daily routine and turn ordinary moments into extraordinary ones.
So it's like a
so obviously
new
having a
Wii.
camera, and
It's
just
like
the
a
way they're
newer
marketing
version
this
of the
thing, it's
Wii.
clearly like it's kind of like a Kinect knockoff. I don't know if I call it a knockoff, but it's just another camera device where it watches you and you kind of
it's
dance around the
another-
room, do stuff, and whatever. At least as far as I understand it. I
So
don't
it's
really know
literally
much
the
about this thing
Wii.
other than that, but yeah, here is the device, and it's got a nice little.
It's
little
literally
paper
the
wrapped around it.
Nintendo
We'll take a
Wii,
closer look at that
but
here in
with
just a second. Also got a
HDMI.
remote, HDMI cable, power cord. I guess we got some nice little
So it's
stickers.
just a Wii
Yeah, that's
U.
kind of cool. Also, what is that? Why is there a giant question mark on the bottom of the box? It's a secret.
With an
Mystery.
Xbox 360
It's
Kinect.
it's the instruction manual. But next, to check out the remote here, which I thought it came with no remote at all, but now we have a normal remote. Looks like just to scroll around, home, back, and yeah. So I think in general, you don't use a controller or anything to play games here. It's literally just like the Kinect where you only use your hands and stuff. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the device itself, because that's what we're actually interested in here, of course. All right, we'll start by taking this little paper wrapping off, which is a nice little touch here. Makes it feel kind of premium. Well, if it'll come off nicely. Not quite as good as I thought it was. But anyways, the device itself, oh, I like that. It's actually pretty neat. It's got a nice little, I don't know, it's plastic, but it's got a nice feel to it. It's a matte plastic, so it doesn't get scratched up like a PS5, which is kind of nice. Well, you got the yellow and teal accents here. You've got your camera on the front. I would assume some sort of sensor there on the front as well. And then here on the side, we have some holes for, I guess, ventilation and maybe some sound. Also a power plug, HDMI plug on the back as well. And the bottom says next, and it's got a nice little grippy giant rubber foot, which I love. Stays nice and still for the most part. Very simple. Let's plug it in, see if it works. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten too far into this console yet, but my first thought is that $250 seems a bit steep for a little cube like this. I mean, like, let's be real. Just because it's 2026 and you made some financial resolutions doesn't mean budgets have just reset. Between bills and getting back into your regular routine, cash is tight, but that's why there's Upside, the sponsor of today's video. Up the Upside app claimed a whopping 37%.
So, I'm not gonna watch
down
this,
on your first
but
code.
you know there are a lot of
And you
people
can see
out
we have
there
our USB-C
that
plug
you
there,
need to
and we
watch
also have
that.
whatever this. Oh, does that cover your camera? Ooh, that's actually kind of nifty. I like that. Let's see, plug this into the back here, and then flipping around to the front. Ah, yeah, it's magnetic around the front. Okay, that's nifty. So just in case you are worried about people spying on you in the night when your console's still plugged in, you just cover it up like so, and yeah, they can't see anything. That's a nice little touch. But all right, console plugged in here, at least the HDMI. I don't think there's actually a power cord or a power button on this thing. So I think when you plug it in, it just turns itself on. Oh yeah, there it is. We got the little next thing popping up now, and I see a little bit of a light there on the front. I think there's a light. And here we go. We got some plastic cartoon kids' hands on the screen with our remote here. Okay, you can select English or French. Really, those are two languages? That's interesting. Is this a Canadian
It's
device?
probably
I'm
just
surprised it's
preloaded
Spanish.
with those
But,
two languages by
whatever.
default.
Connect to
You
Wi-Fi.
still need to
Okay,
connect it
I
to
gotta
the
say, I like this
internet,
interface
updated,
here. It's a
I
nice little
assume.
cartoony, and it's just different than what you usually see. You got, what is this, playground
Yeah,
on the left
see?
side. Then here on the right side, we have all of our Wi-Fi names. I'm not quite
Watch,
sure.
how much you
what
wanna
the deal is
bet
with
the next
hand
thing it's
kinda
gonna
going
do
up
is
and down.
update?
Nice little gimmick, I guess. All right, here we go. Tuning up your playground. So it looks like a construction scene here. I gotta say, so far I like the graphics here. Just kind of cool, little nifty thing. You know what? It's got it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna click
As you can see, it's
pause on
scrolling
this
50%
recording
done,
real
11%
quick.
done. I guess even kids'
30
devices are
minutes
not immune
later.
from
Look, it's
downloading
finally
20
done
gigabytes
updating.
of files
Clicks
before you
play
play
on the
on
recording.
console. But yeah, we'll sit back, relax, and wait. And imagine bringing this up as a
Now we're
little
tuning up
kid,
our
and it says,
playground.
before continuing, our lawyers want to tell you some stuff. Little 6-year-old, make sure to read this. Like, we don't share your stuff without your permission, and videos don't get stored on the next servers or in the cloud. I guess that's good to see, but yeah, I'm not reading this. Okay, and now the adults have to open the camera app on your phone and scan the QR code and follow the steps to sign up and continue setting up the playground. So I guess we can't play it all until we set this bad boy up. So I guess let's give it a go. Okay, so all I did was sign into Google, and now it comes up with this thing. Says, great, now let's make sure Playground can see you. Set it directly under your TV's best spot. Well, yeah, it's just staying right here. Avoid clothes with patterns, long sleeves, or colors that match your walls. Avoid non-players in the camera view. Clear your area of furniture and pets. Make sure the room is very well lit, but avoid backlight. And here we go. Let's see what this thing does. I wonder if it's gonna pop up with a picture of me on the screen. Probably. Oh yeah, there it is. Yo, what's good? Yeah, not sure how this is gonna work.
That's
on this
actually
desk
some pretty
setup.
good camera
Figure it out.
quality.
Maybe I need to do this right here. It said edge of the table, so let's go straight up edge of the table. Wow. Okay, so this is how I gotta play. You kidding me? Okay, whatever happened, it's set up now, so let's go ahead and let's play. All right. But okay, I guess we don't have to use our hands and arms for everything because I can just scroll around here. It looks like with the controller. We got a starter pack with Fruit Ninja. We've got
that might
Whack-A-Mole,
actually be fucking
Goalkeeper.
sick.
We got Bluey, Bust a Move. Wow, of course there's Bluey on here. Makes sense. What is this? Cooking with Friends. I gotta say, some of the colors on here are rough. Like they're so bright, it's hard to read stuff because it's just
games, dog.
they're so bright.
Like
And
actually
looks like this is
licensed
called Nickelodeon
games,
The Tiny
dog.
Chef Show, Cooking with Twins. Yeah, it's a kids console. Fruit Ninja, their Starry game. We got puppies. Oh, nice. It looks like Nintendogs. That's kind of cute. We got a Barbie dance party. You know they're serious when they got Barbie on here. Okay. Basketball Knockout, Candyland.
Yeah, he's right. They
Party foul game. Those
They
games
really
already
do
saw.
not
These are
fuck
all
around
party
with their
games.
licenses,
Connect 4,
bruh.
yo. Okay.
That shit is owned by
There you go.
Hasbro.
Action adventure. We've got some
don't
Unicorn
play with that
Academy.
shit.
Okay. Sword/Adventure, Dragon Riders of the Sky. Oh, we got some How to Train Your Dragon. That's nifty. And looks like that's about it. Actually, there's an NHL sponsored game, NHL Puck Rush. Okay. Home Run Heroes, Tennis Smash, Active Arcade, Next Gym, Family Fitness, and Puppies. Okay, so I'm kind of curious which of these games are free versus which one do you have to like sign up and download and pay some money, because I think I read online this is like a subscription thing. So it's a little bit sus, you know. We like to play games offline, right? But anyways, we'll play their game here. We got Next Pets here. Let's try to boot this one up and see if it'll play. It says nope, there it is. Get it with Play Pass. So yep, gotta buy it. All right, can I play any of these games without Play Pass? Is the real question. I guess I'll scroll back to the very top here. We got our starter pack. We got Try Me First on Fruit Ninja, so maybe that'll be free. There we go. Okay, free game. That's what I like to see. So let's take our positions, I guess, here. Time to slash fruit. I gotta be honest, it is like this game specifically is a little bit funky with how just like where your hands are. It's unnatural, but you gotta get used to it, I guess. Yeah, it's Fruit Ninja, kind of what you expect there. Before we do another game, though, I'm kind of curious if there's any settings here. So we have Wi-Fi, Play Pass, System, and Health.
That's
Let me
actually
try
pretty
the
cool.
System button here and see what kind of just settings and stuff they have embedded in this console. So first of all, we got about, got our email, show or hide games. Okay, so you can probably hide games for your
$99,000, holy shit. New free Rust. Waits and Once Human. I mean, it is a lot like Rust. I was gonna say, it's not quite the same, though. Because you can go in first person in Rust. I don't think you can go in first person in Once Human. Not only that, Once Human is like this radioactive fucking wasteland, apocalyptic end of the world type thing. So like, is bro working with Santa? Santa's on vacation. He's like, I'm gonna build me a couch. Make myself something for Christmas this year. Like an ass. $90 million. Why is Steam getting sued for $90
It's easy.
million?
I do nothing and win. Hello, sir. We actually have a call for you online now. Oh, okay. Hello?
Hello, Governor. It's Tuesday, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like a bottle of water?
It's kind of all I got when it comes to like stereotypical British accents. I don't know how to say any other words. Enjoy the show.
Hello, you pile of trash.
You dialed Valve, not Epic. What do you want? Steam, you owe us. I'm suing you for abusing market dominance and overcharging 14 million customers. What the hell are you talking about? Well, first of all, you're taking 30% of the cut of every game purchased. Explain that. You mean the same thing that PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile platforms do? Okay, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. Are you suing them as well, or is this targeted? Also, you lock users into an ecosystem because when they buy a game on Steam and they try to get DLC, they're forced to play the DLC on Steam. They can't go anywhere else. You're kidding me. No. What is the last PlayStation game you played? I don't know, Resident Evil 8? Okay. So why don't you play the DLC of it on Xbox? What? Newsflash, dummy. I can't play DLC on the Xbox if I bought the original game on PlayStation. That doesn't make any sense. You see, this is why y'all getting sued, because you're stupid. You didn't think we'd notice that you guys are holding a monopoly? I don't have a monopoly. Gamers are free to choose many different platforms to buy their games from. They just choose me because I'm better. Convenience is the key. And I'm conveniently beating y'all ass. You hear me? This is a convenient ass whooping. You're better at what exactly? Charging the customer more?
That would be
what are
like,
you talking about? My
for real,
customers
though.
have backlogs that have backlog.
Nah, for real though. Like, let me just like this is Steam, bruh. This is Steam, bro. Like, every single game that you can get on console, you can get here. And here's the thing. I can put Steam on as many computers as I want. No, I can't play the game on both different devices at the same time. But I can have as many devices connected to my account as I want. Yup. And another thing is I can transfer files, game files, from this computer to whatever other computer I want. So if I have a game that's on this computer that I'm installing on a different device and I'm connected to this network, it just transfers it over the network. I don't have to download it again. It literally just copies and pastes a file. It's fucking insane. Like, actually. And then another thing about Steam, you see this, add a game? You can add games that aren't even on Steam. And then you can use all of the features of Steam with that game. And they don't charge you anything for that. There's no subscriptions. There's no dumb bullshit. There's no paying to play online. You buy your game. You get to play your game. It's that simple. If you don't like the game, you get a window for a return of the game. So you have a period that you can return the game in case you don't want it or you don't like the game. You literally have a period to test the game, to try it out. Like, I haven't seen that on Xbox. I mean, not that I know of, personally. So I haven't really ever wanted to refund a game that I've purchased on Xbox, because I only purchased the ones that I actually enjoyed and that I played very often. The same thing here. And another thing about Steam that's actually fucking awesome is I can do this. I can go into my settings, and if I go here to family, I can manage my Steam family, and what that does is I can add people to it, right? And then they can play all the games that I own for free. They get to play those games because I purchased them, and then now I'm giving them access to it, to my version, you know, to my purchased version of the game. And pretty much everything you see on this list is 100% compatible. Like, almost all of it. Like, the only thing that I know of that's not compatible is Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced. I don't know about the original GTA. It might be, it might not. But everything else you see, it is. So, like, any of the games that I purchased, like, for instance, Gmod, or there's another game, GTA, which I kind of have to do a workaround in order to get that to work, but it doesn't. I don't know why they removed it from share access, but you used to be able to. And as long as you signed into like a different Rockstar social club account, then you could play. But you can't use the person's account that, you know, obviously owns the game. You have to use your own. But it literally allows you to play all the same games. And another thing about Steam, did you see this? Yeah. You can choose exactly how much you want to add. The minimum fund level is $5, and the maximum is $100. It's not a money grab. It's literally so you can put money into your Steam wallet, and then you can use that to buy games. And another thing about Steam, there's no reoccurring charges. There's none. There is no subscriptions. There's none of that dumb shit. No. No. There's not. Even for the hardware that they have, there is no subscription. There's no subscription. Like for the Valve Index, you literally just go like this, and you click this, and you start Steam VR. You install Steam VR, and then you just launch it and plug the headset in. No subscription necessary, no none of that bullshit, no paying for this app so it works properly, no none of that stupid shit. Valve just doesn't believe in that dumb shit. You wonder why. They're like, it is a convenient ass whooping for Valve. You know what I mean? Like, it's just convenient because they're just doing shit the right way. You know what I mean? Like, even games, like straight up, like, I can still get Battlefield 2 if I wanted to. Like, if I legitimately wanted to get Battlefield 2, I could. It's probably still up on Steam. Like, that's the only thing you gotta worry about, is whether or not it's up on Steam. Like, Team Fortress 2, you can still get that. That's another thing I like about Steam. They don't remove games because they're just old. No. No, Gmod is still a thing. Like, sure, they removed support for Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Windows 8. But they didn't remove support for Windows 10, Linux, Debian, Arch Linux, basically any Linux distribution, like, just works out of the box with Steam. Like, literally. The only thing you gotta do is go into Steam settings and turn on Proton 8, and then basically every game you own just runs. That's it. That's the hardest part about Steam on Linux, is getting the games to actually launch. And the only thing you need to do is use Proton 8, which literally emulates Windows. It literally emulates the Windows command prompt, etc., 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 etc. All the shit that you need to actually run a Windows application. Then there's also this thing called Wine, which also allows you to do the same thing. It allows you to run applications. So if you were installing a game that was outside of Steam, that had its own installer, for instance like Crossout, that's where Wine would come in. Because you would need those dependencies in order to run that program. But yeah, no. See, look, it's right here. Steam Linux runtime. Dude, they have a whole runtime. They have multiple. And not only that, all the tools that Steam has are provided to you completely for free. All of them. Every last one of them. All the tools. Every version of Proton, like the 7 Days to Die dedicated server, like anything like that, like straight up. It's provided to you for free. It's a tool for you to use for free. And there's hundreds of them. Like, the list just keeps going. You know what I mean? Like, they have SDKs, like, for multiplayer and single player. Like, they even have shit for Sniper Elite 4. Like that's insane. And then they have the 6th Sense SDK for the Razer Hydra, which again is provided to you for free. These are tools that you just get to use at any time. Not only that, there's a whole bunch of free games. And here's the best part. You don't have to pay Steam to be able to play them online. The only thing you pay for is the product. They don't do that dumb shit.
Okay, I got the most sales out of anybody. I got autumn sales. I got
why.
Spring sales. I got summer sales. I got winter sales. I got sales for anything you need. Now I'm hearing you want to hop into the console industry, huh? How much are you gonna charge for that Steam machine anyway, buddy? Listen, the Gabe Cube isn't a console.
It's not. It is not. No. The Steam machine that they made is not a console. It is not a console. It is not anything near a console. It is a fully fledged computer. Fully fledged. Either it's going to be running Windows 10 or it's going to be running Steam OS. And I can guarantee you it's most likely going to be running Steam OS.
It's an experience. We're taking you down, brother, for the good of my company, good of the consumer. I have 42 million active players. I don't care. There is no stopping me. You're not really doing this for the gamer. The gamer's not getting anything out of this lawsuit. This is all about you and your inability to perform in a marketplace that I'm dominant in. You can't beat me, so you want to get the government to cripple my legs. But you can't, because no matter what, people will always choose me. Because I'm better. It's easy. I do nothing and win. Hello, sir.
Literally, though. Like, they literally just... They don't need to do anything. You know what I mean? Because Steam doesn't have any problems. And when there are problems, they have a feedback system. And they immediately are on that shit. I mean, the second you send them feedback, not even 5 minutes go by. And you already have support. Like, literally, you already have an actual person on the other side of support helping you. In less than 10 minutes. It's fucking insane. Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't gotten fucking anywhere ever with Xbox support. Never. I had to do everything myself. When my console got fucked up, guess who had to replace the hard drive? Me. Microsoft wasn't going to do that shit. Warranty or not. You know what I mean? Like, no. They're not going to repair an old console. They want you to just throw it away and buy a new one. Like, they're not going to do shit unless you have a warranty and they're legally obligated to do so. By a contract. With Steam, you don't have to worry about that. Because they actually have a support team that will actually help you.
Serious, sir. Steam is coming out with the Steam machine. It's a PC, but you can plug and play it onto your TV. Like a console. What do you mean console? Steam has my games on it. Yeah. Get Xbox on the line right now. What do you want? Did you know about this? Know about what? I'm on the other line arguing with TikTok and Instagram Reels. Steam's coming out with a console. Console? I thought it was just a PC. You plug it into the TV, you start playing games. Damn. These niggas made a console. Well, I knew they were cooking up something. Why do you think I gave up? You could have warned me about this. They can play some of my games on that thing. How do you think I feel? They can play all my games on that thing. This is a catastrophe. Who are you telling? I'm a Microsoft console. Now you can run Microsoft on another console. It's like a PC as well. So you can mod it, right? It's gonna play games at 4K, 60 FPS with FSR. It's gotta be like $2,000, right? Brokies can't afford that. Steam keeps taking my ideas. I'm about to release the Xbox ROG Ally XXX apostrophe X Charles X Xavier, and no one's gonna get it now. They're gonna be the only console that doesn't require payment just to use online services. Damn. Why didn't we think about that? We did! And then we started charging them. Oh yeah. I don't think they really enjoyed that. By the way, you talked with Nintendo yet? I'm about to call them right now. Okay, tell them I said hi. What? No, I'm not doing that. Why aren't you panicking? I told you. I already gave up. I already knew about this. Listen, my games are everywhere now. I'm out of the console war. I'm free. I'm looking at beautiful skies, luscious trees. Sega says hi, by the way.
Exactly. Microsoft has gotten everything that they needed from the game franchises that they have. So they dropped the studios. They no longer need to fund them. Because they've already made enough income off of it. Like, trust me, Microsoft has leached off of every single studio that they've had since they created the studio. Every game that every studio that Microsoft has owned Microsoft has leached every single dollar that they can get off of that franchise, I promise you. That's why they're just leaving the console wars, because they don't need to fucking continue. They don't. They have made their final version of their console. If they make another version of their console, so be it. Sure, there's going to be some new games that they add to it. And some of the older games are going to be delisted on the store, which in my opinion is just kind of stupid. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're still gonna make money off of the games that are purchased from your store. So like,
The nuclear blast showed me how powerless we really.
Serious, sir. Steam is coming out with the Steam Machine.
The nuclear blast.
The internet used to feel simple. One browser, one login, one identity. But life doesn't work like that anymore. We wear different hats every day. Designer, gamer, manager, side hustler, each one with their own inbox, logins, accounts, and chaos. That's why multi-identity browsing isn't just a feature. It's a new must-have. Shift gives you separate workspaces for every version of you. Personal here, work over.
Everybody is live today. Straight up, man. Literally. Everyone is live right now. At least people who are like fucking up there in the ranks. I was gonna say the literal man himself, the moist man himself. 5th DUI and isn't happy. Oh my god. I don't have any DUIs. Not one. I haven't been charged with being under the influence in public. I haven't been charged with driving under the influence. They don't even know that I was under the influence. There was only one occasion that they knew I was under the influence, and I was within my legal right to do so. So they couldn't do anything about it. They legally could not do anything about it, as I was following every stipulation that the law specifies. Yeah. So they ultimately could not do anything. They could not charge me, because I did not commit a crime. However, if I was the one that purchased it, right? If I was the person that purchased it for them, right? And then provided it to them, then it would be a crime. Then it would be a crime. No, I am the one who consumed it. I did not purchase it. The only thing that I have purchased that night was for myself. That was it. I didn't purchase anything for anybody else. Nope. No. But yeah, nah. I don't understand why people be doing that. Like, I hope you know, like, you could fucking die from that. Like, you could just lose control of the vehicle and not regain control of it and end up flying into, I don't know, one of the thousands of trees that are on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, what are the chances of hitting a tree when there's, I don't know, a fucking billion of them? I think your chances are a fucking billion. And all it takes is slipping up one time. Like, I'm telling you, the cars that people drive on the road nowadays are not meant to drive like that. They're not meant to speed. They are not meant to take hard turns. They are not meant to be a NASCAR. They are meant to go from point A to point B. Alright? If you have a sports car, or a supercar, or a hypercar, that's an entirely different type of vehicle, and isn't even classified in the same rank as a normal vehicle. Like, they're not, like, I'm sorry, but they're not looking at your Honda Civic like they're looking at that Porsche 911 Spider, bro, or that 918. They're not gonna look at you like that. All right, because the thing is the person in the supercar 100% is going to run. 100 because they can. Like literally because they can, and they know they can. They know that their car is fast enough to get away if they can handle it. And that right there, that decision, is what ends most people's lives. And then we got the people who decide, oh yes, driving when I can't even see straight enough to walk is an amazing idea. Because I'm sitting down, I don't have to worry about falling over. I can do this. Stupid. Stupid. When it gets to the point where it is your 5th time in a row, I'm not being judgmental, but something does need to change. You need to stop driving when you're under the influence, or stop drinking while driving. The government is trying to ruin Steam. Why?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
So there's currently a class action lawsuit in the UK against Steam, more specifically their owner Valve, for alleged anti-competitive practices. And of course, while the class action lawsuit is in the UK, this will affect Valve all across the world, depending on how this lawsuit goes. And spoiler alert, the whole thing seems like a con from organizations and corporations that don't like how consumer-friendly Steam really is. So get
I was
this.
gonna
This
say,
is how-
yeah, no, like, I've had problems with Steam in the past, but only one time. And it wasn't even Valve's fault. It wasn't even Valve that was at fault. And they straight up told me that. They straight up told me, like, every single fucking piece of information that I needed to know in order to get my problem resolved. I bought GTA 5 and was unable to activate it because I did not get the activation key. Little did I know that it was sent to the email that I made the Rockstar Social Club account with. I was not told that by Rockstar Games. I was not told that by the app that they made. So I had no idea where this registration key was. And I kept going into Steam and using their registration key, and it did not work. So I went and opened a support ticket, and that's when they told me that they can't do anything about it, and I asked them why, and they simply told me because it is Rockstar that controls that. They are the ones that provide you the key. We send them an email, they send you an email. That's just how it goes. And I'm just like, oh, well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have opened the fucking support ticket in the first place. I wouldn't have wasted their fucking time for nothing.
How twisted this lawsuit is. The proposed representative for this lawsuit in the UK is a woman named Vicky Shotbull. And the lawsuit claims to be taking collective action on behalf of 14 million UK Steam users. The majority of probably don't even know that they're being used like tools in this lawsuit.
So let me ask you a question. What happens if this lawsuit actually goes through and then Steam is like, well, we don't want to provide our services to anybody in the UK anymore. We're going to ban the all IPs in the United Kingdom. Like, they can literally just ban the main server that handles all of the network trafficking, and you literally can't even access their website, even through a VPN, because you are still connected to that server. You still go through that server. That server is what communicates to the other server and handles network traffic across the ocean. You ain't getting past that bitch. I promise you, you ain't getting past it. Trust me, with how thick those cables are and how much data it transfers and how quickly and how important that motherfucker is, it is secured to the T like Fort fucking Knox. Digitally and physically. You ain't getting to it. You ain't getting through it, and you ain't hacking it. Trust me. You can have fun with that. But if Valve were to simply just ban that server that connects the rest of the network from the United Kingdom to the United States, guess what happens? You can't access Steam at all. Is Valve going to do that? Probably not. Is this lawsuit actually going to go through? Probably not. Are they going to have any actual evidence to prove what they're claiming about Steam? No. Not at all. Nope.
And they're automatic.
And another thing is Steam did not force anybody to buy anything. They didn't hold the gun to anybody's head. Everything that was purchased on Steam by anybody in the United Kingdom was of their own will. And they agreed to the license terms and conditions. So, I don't know what you're really going on about.
Being forced into
not
this
really
litigation, they have to
that
manually opt out if they want no part of it. Vicky Shopbold herself has ties to the UK's Office of Communications, aka Ofcom. Yes, the same Ofcom that we discussed extensively back around September
I was gonna say, like, you can try to ruin Steam. You can try to ruin Steam, but they have 42 million active players. So, with that being said, if there is 42 million active players, let's say somebody, you know, on average, one person purchases something per day, right? Regardless of the price, they're making basically 42 million. Like that. Like, instantly. Like, I'm telling you, each user could literally buy something that is $1. Actually, a singular fucking dollar. And Steam would make 42 million in seconds. Like, I mean, they would probably make half of that, because then again, like we just literally just learned this. Like, they take 30% of the profit share of all the games that they sell. So, with that being said, it's going to be about 30% of 42 million in that exact scenario. So, either way, they are still making millions. You cannot stop Steam. They can't go bankrupt. They physically fucking can't, no matter how hard they try. That's why they can do sales all the time. All the fucking time. Because Steam is accessible on any computer, does not require a subscription. The only thing you pay for is the game. Or DLC, or add-ons. So be it. That's it. You don't pay to play online. You don't pay to have an account. You don't pay for premium. You don't pay for that dumb shit. They don't even have that as an option. And it's like, even if they did, they don't fucking sit there and force feed it to
Online
you.
Safety Act that they're trying to roll out and enforce on all citizens
no,
in the UK.
I'm so dead ass. Like, watch. Watch. What is the first thing that's gonna pop up when I open? Immediately, they're trying to sell me the 3 newest games that they've made. They're immediately trying to oversell a whole bunch of shit. Immediately. What's the first thing I see? Join Game Pass for $1. But the thing is you're not going to do that because I already have purchased it before. So realistically, that is kind of a scam set up specifically for a specific set of users that have purchased Game Pass previously. If you have not purchased Game Pass previously on an account that you have made, guess what? You get to join for $1. Next month, the reoccurring charge goes to $9.99. Guess what? I canceled my Game Pass subscription years ago. Who is still charging me to this day? And I can prove it. That's the thing. I can prove it. If I go over here to Cash App, ignore this. That is not correct. That is correct. Now let's scroll down. Amazon. Reoccurring charges. $15.89. I did not sign up for Amazon. I removed my card from Amazon. They are still charging me, even though I did not give them permission to use my card for Amazon Prime. If we continue to go down, we scroll down more, just a little bit more. Amazon, 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 Prime Video. I don't have a Prime Video account. I did not add my card to Prime Video. Alright, oh, what's this? Microsoft, $16. $16. Oh, what's this? Microsoft again, $16, $16, $16, 16, 16, another 16. Holy shit. Wow, Amazon, Amazon, Prime Video, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Microsoft, Xbox, Microsoft. I'm literally reading it off as I'm scrolling it down. Like, this is normal. You see this right here? This was almost 2 years ago now. Yeah. They have been charging me every fucking month since then. I canceled my Game Pass subscription before I sold my console. Like, months before I sold my console. They have not stopped charging my card. I literally have to keep it locked, and I cannot put anything more than $20 on it at a time out of fear that I am going to get fucking scammed by Microsoft themselves. Or Amazon, because they just continue and continue and continue and continue and continue to charge me. I have blocked them on Cash App. They still charge me somehow. Like, it's almost like they make more accounts to charge me for a service that I do not have. I don't have Game Pass. I do not have a subscription, an active subscription to Microsoft. And I will show you right now by going directly to Microsoft's page. They know this. They know this. Okay, I don't need a passkey. I just want to sign in, Microsoft. But like, look, right here. You see that? Do you see where it says subscriptions? I did not sign up for this. Alright? I did not sign up for this, Microsoft. I did not send in the request to have a subscription to Microsoft 365 through my account. This account right here with my full legal name on it. Yeah. Another thing is that you can clearly see that there is no Game Pass subscription. There is no Game Pass subscription. So, with that being said, like, it's pretty clear to me what's going on here. You're charging me for absolutely no reason. See, and they don't even, like, they can't even see what devices are connected to my account simply because I'm refusing to register them. Because, one, you do not need to collect any more information off of me, as you already have sold enough of it. Two, you are still reoccurring charging me. Like, you're not getting a cent, Microsoft. You're not getting, I'm not paying you anything for a subscription that I don't have. Okay? Alright. And then the Microsoft 365, I don't use that. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that app looks like. I've never opened it once in my life. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is or what it does. Straight up. Never touched it. I do not have an active subscription. Nobody else has access to my account. I don't just put my account on other people's computers. I don't do that. This is something that Microsoft randomly decided that I wanted, which I did not. There is no records of me actively starting a subscription with Microsoft 365. However, I somehow have a subscription. And they also want me to add a phone number. I'm not giving you anything until you stop charging me for a subscription that I do not have. And I will say the exact same thing to Amazon. I did not give you permission to reoccurringly charge my card every month for a subscription that isn't mine. If you read the name on the card and you read the name of the person's account, you will realize pretty quickly that is fraud. Regardless of whether I added my card or not, guess what? I deleted my card off of Amazon. Do you know what that means? You legally cannot withhold that information anymore. I could legally dispute this if I wanted to, but I am choosing not to because I'm not wasting my fucking time on that. Do you want to know why I'm not wasting my time on that? Because I can just simply block them and they don't get a fucking cent. You don't get to leech off of me, Microsoft. Or you, Amazon. I'm sorry. But do you see all these? Like, this is what I spend normally. A day. $5. Literally, that is what I spend a day. If you add gas that goes into my bike to that, guess what? It goes up $7. It's $7 now. That's the total that I spend in one day. Like, if I'm not getting anything else, that is the absolute total of my entire day. That is how much one single day costs me. Literally $5. Like, a pack of ramen you can literally go and buy for a singular fucking dollar. And that's at the end of that street that I live on. You know what I mean? Like, it... That's how much I spend daily. Like, if we do the math here... Right? Now let's compare... Like, what is this? ATM withdraw. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But you see that? That was what I spent yesterday on my card. $2.95. I had to settle for something that was more expensive than what I was originally going to get. And I still stayed well within the budget. Did you see that? I still have money left over to go and get another one if I wanted to. It's not zero. It's never zero. That's the thing. It is never all zeros on this account. I will tell you right now, it is never all zeros. There's always more than 20 cents in this account. All the time. All the time. I never let that shit drop to zero. I always have some amount of money somewhere for the event that I do not have any on hand. Like, I literally collect coins. I keep nickels, dimes, quarters. I even keep the pennies. Don't use the pennies, but I still keep them. Can't even really use the pennies, but I still keep them. Why? Because every fucking cent you get is another cent. That adds up. Do the math. How many nickels does it take to make $1? Double the amount it takes in dimes. Oh. And how many quarters does it take to make $1? 4. It's really not that hard to always have some form of currency on hand if it is absolutely necessary. But I do find it absolutely insane that Steam is even being compared to Microsoft right now.
But really, they're using children as a shield for their true goal, which many see as surveillance and the removal of anonymity online. As the Online Safety Act would require age assurance measures, which would require users to submit their biometric data, such as pictures of their face, their photo ID, credit cards, and bank statements, stuff like that. Vicky Shotbolt is also the co-founder and CEO of an organization called Parent Zone, which is a UK charity that claims to focus on children's digital safety and quote-unquote media literacy. And that takes me to a quick side note that I mentioned the other week, which was regarding quote-unquote media literacy and how activist con artists like to use the term media literacy as a rhetorical manipulation tactic. And they do this by weaponizing the term to not actually mean anything with analyzing media genuinely, but instead what they really mean is conforming to their viewpoints. So if you conform to their views, they say that you have media literacy, and if you don't conform to their views, they say that you don't have media literacy. Obviously, that's absurd, but yeah, these are the tactics of very manipulative people. And so, it's no surprise at all that Vicky Shotbolt is using the same exact rhetoric for her charity, Parent Zone, and we can break this down even further because we can see Vicky is listed directly on Ofcom's website for their quote, established working group, unquote. They say the established working group supports Ofcom's work developing best practice principles for promoting media literacy through the design of online platforms. We are working to establish what works well and what does not for media literacy interventions on platforms in order to identify good media literacy design principles and inform our thinking about our future online safety duties. Building a consensus around best practice principles requires input from experts. From experts. Yeah, we haven't heard that before. With varying perspectives.
Great news! Now your account has a level, and you get free daily cases for it every day.
We need to talk right now. Because while you were busy trying to rank up in Valorant or begging for GTA 6 crumbs, a bunch of corporate vampires in the UK decided it was time to put a bullet in the head of the only platform that actually functions in this godforsaken industry. I am talking, of course, about the absolute circus act happening in the UK Competition Appeal Tribunal, Valve Steam, the Holy Land. The one place where you buy a game, it works, and you don't get treated like a criminal for wanting to play it.
Swear to God, bro.
Providing a service that isn't complete dog water is now illegal. I'm reading this headline and I think, oh, surely this is a joke. Surely the courts threw this out. Nope, this is real. A £656 million lawsuit. That's nearly $1 billion, folks. $1 billion because Steam is too good? Because they dominate the market. Let me explain something to the suits in London, in terms even a toddler could understand. Steam is a monopoly in the same way that oxygen is a monopoly on breathing. It's not a monopoly because they shot the competition. It's a monopoly because the competition decided to hold their breath and die. But no, according to Vicky Shotbolt, remember that name, because she is the villain of this anime arc. Valve is abusing its dominant position. I'm gonna read this article. Valve's attempt to have courts dismiss a legal action brought against it for allegations of overcharging and anti-competitive practices has failed, as reported by the BBC. A judge's ruling is allowing the case brought by lawyer Vicky Shopbolt to go ahead on behalf of 14 million Steam users in the UK. Failed. It failed to be dismissed. So let me get this straight. You have 14 million people. Did any of you ask for this? Did any of you wake up this morning, log into Steam, look at the summer sale, and scream, "Help, I'm being oppressed by these discounts"? No, you didn't. This is what we call representative litigation. It's a fancy legal term that translates to, we are going to use your name to sue a company you like, take a massive cut of the winnings for our law firm, and send you a check for £3.50 in 5 years. On behalf of 14 million users, who gave you the mandate, Vicky? Who is this we? There is no we. There is you chasing a bag and us trying to play Pal World in peace. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like in practice. Somewhere in Manchester, there's a 17-year-old kid who just bought Terraria on sale for free. He's playing with his mates, building pixel castles, having the time of his life. He has no idea that a law firm in London just conscripted him into a legal crusade against the very platform that just gave him 200 hours of entertainment for less than the price of a McDonald's meal. That's what opt-out litigation means. You're in the lawsuit unless you actively remove yourself. And how many teenagers do you think are regularly checking their legal status regarding digital distribution platforms? How many working parents are going to see the obscure notice buried in some legal journal and think, you know what, I better opt out of this thing I didn't know existed? It's predatory, and it's absolutely legal, which tells you everything you need to know about how screwed up the system is. First filed in 2024, Shotbolt's claim with its own fancy website is an attempt to prove that Valve's policies on Steam violate UK laws on anti-competitive prices and unfair trading conditions that prevent or hinder others from competing with them. The argument concerns Valve's demand that games
Where are you getting this information from?
sold on Steam not
every game that you can find on the Microsoft Store is pretty much the same price as it is on Steam. And the same thing with the PlayStation Store. Unless there is a discount or a sale on that specific product, currently, they're all pretty much the same price. Like, you get what you pay for the experience that you're paying for. You spend $500 on a console, you're getting a $500 laptop inside of a plastic box with a subscription that you have to pay monthly, otherwise you can't play online. Well, I mean, with PlayStation, it's not exactly like that. You can play online for free. You don't have to pay for a subscription for that. You can just, as long as you have PlayStation Network, you're good. However, on Xbox, on the other hand, you do. You absolutely do. You have to have a subscription. If you don't have a subscription, you cannot play games online. There is only 3 games that you can play online. Period. Absolutely fucking period. Fortnite, Apex, and Roblox, because they do not require Game Pass. They do not require Xbox Live Gold. They don't require Xbox Live. They don't require that dumb shit. They don't. They simply don't. You download and install Roblox. It's free. They can't charge you. They literally cannot charge you to play a game that is free, that they do not own. They do not have licenses or rights to. It's just hosted on their store, because the developer that made that game is paying them a sum so they can have their app hosted on that store. That is literally how that goes. They can't force a subscription on something they don't have rights to. The only rights they have is to distribute. That's it. They can't dispute. They can't do anything. The only thing they can do is refuse payment and remove it off of the store if they wanted to. Is Microsoft going to do that? No. No, because they're making a commission off of it every time somebody downloads the app from their store. They make a commission from that. Why would they take it off of the store? That is the reason why they can't hit you with a subscription for it.
not be made available at a permanently lower price on rival stores. This is the core of the argument. Platform parity obligations, or PPOs. Sounds smart, right? Sounds like some serious antitrust shit. It's garbage. They are mad because Valve says, hey, if you sell your game on our store, where we provide the servers, the forums, the workshop, the reviews, and the audience, you can't go sell it for half price on another store just to undercut us while using our platform for visibility. That's not anti-competitive. That's called not being a doormat. Let me break down what's actually happening here, because the legal filing deliberately obscures this with jargon. Developers are completely free to sell their games wherever they want. They can sell on Epic, they can sell on GOG, they can sell on their own website, they can sell physical copies in a van outside of Tesco if they want. What Valve's policy actually says is this: if you're using our platform, our bandwidth, our servers, our community features, our marketing visibility, our customer service infrastructure, you can't permanently list the game cheaper somewhere else while still benefiting from everything Steam provides. Temporary sales?
Fair enough.
Fine. Bundles on other platforms? Fine. Different pricing in different regions? Fine.
That literally proves my point. You remember when I said that every game that you can find on Steam is pretty much the same price anywhere else in any other store? Yep, this is why. Because you can't host your game on Steam if you're gonna go and change the price and make it lower on a different fucking store. Sorry, we're not gonna give you benefits if you're going to use us as a fucking doormat to wipe your feet off on. Respectable. Respectable.
You can't do is use Steam as your primary storefront, get all the benefits of being discovered by Steam's massive audience, and then tell those customers actually go...
Like, oh yeah, Steam has 42 million users. Here, let me just host my game on Steam, and then I'll go and, you know, put it on this store over here for half price so I can, you know, make double. Like, dog. That ain't cool, bro.
Buy it over here for 30% less. If I run a shop and I put your product on the shelf, handle the transaction, manage the returns, provide the shopping environment, and drive foot traffic...
Fucking exactly. Fucking exactly, Brett. If Steam is going to be responsible for everything that happens with your piece of software, you are also going to be held responsible for the price point that you put it in any other store. And they will simply refuse to continue hosting your game on Steam if you do that, and honestly, they have every right to do so.
Traffic to your product, you think I'm going to let you sell it out of the back of your van across the street for 50% off. You're cooked. You are absolutely cooked if you think that's a legal argument. This isn't some novel invention by Valve either. This is standard retail practice that's existed for literally centuries. When you get your product into Walmart, you sign agreements about pricing. When you sell through Amazon, there are parity clauses. This is how commerce works. The only difference is that because it's digital, and because gamers are involved, suddenly it's being treated like some unprecedented monopolistic conspiracy. And that once you buy a game on Steam, the only way you can buy further content for that game, be it DLC, expansion packs, or cosmetics, is also via Steam.
Well, I mean, yeah... That's how it is on every device? What do you mean? I go on a PlayStation, I buy Resident Evil 8, guess what? I have to get the DLC from PlayStation. I can't get it from Xbox, I can't get it from Steam, I can't get it from anywhere else because it's supposed to be from PlayStation. Do you want to know why? Because they have their own operating system. That version of the game has been ported specifically to their operating system. Files from other operating systems simply are not compatible. It's not even, oh, we can read this file, but we don't want to. It's, we have no idea what file system this even is. Like, it looks at it and is like, what is this? What the fuck am I looking at? Like, you go to Xbox, guess what? You buy a game off of the Xbox store, you want DLC for it, guess where you have to go to get the DLC? The Xbox store. Yeah. Yeah, you want to, what's this? You want to buy a game on Nintendo Switch and you want DLC for it? Guess where you gotta go? Nintendo eShop to buy the game. Guess where you gotta go to get the DLC? Nintendo eShop. It's like that on every fucking device. Every fucking device. I don't know what you're on about.
This ShopBolt claims allows Valve to hold a dominant position in the PC gaming market, and that it may have used this position in ways that violate UK competition law. Oh my god, I lost brain cells reading that.
How? How is it violating UK competition laws? How? Like I said, you can try to sue Steam all you want, but you literally have no legal argument. You just don't. You claim that there are 14 million users backing this, but what are they doing? Probably playing Steam right now. Like, it's probably open on their desktop, and they're probably running a game that they have bought from Valve. Let's be realistic here. How many of them have bought the DLC without even fucking questioning it? From Valve. Everybody does it on every fucking device. It ain't anything new. It's been around since the original fucking Xbox. It's been around since the PlayStation. Like the PlayStation. They had DLC for that too. You had to preload it on a memory card before you booted the game up, otherwise it would not work. You had to purchase that DLC separately, and it came on a disc that you would manually have to burn the files with the PlayStation onto the memory card. The only way you could do that is with the PlayStation. You can't use a computer. You can't use any other console. You can't use a Dreamcast. Don't even think about a Sega. It's not gonna work. Stupid.
You mean to tell me if I buy a game on Steam, I have to buy the DLC on Steam? Yes, because that...
Yeah. So you're telling me if I buy a game on Xbox, I have to buy the DLC on Xbox? Well, yeah. So if I go to Nintendo Switch and do the same thing, it's going to be exactly the same? Yeah. Well, what about PlayStation? Yeah. What did you expect? That's just how it works. You can't just add an add-on for a game that's not compatible and expect it to work from an entirely, like, that's designed for an entirely different device. Not only is it using a different file system, it's using different hardware, it's using different everything. Nothing is the same. Like, I'd be surprised if it even recognizes it as DLC to begin with.
That's how files work, you absolute muppets. This is the part where I genuinely start to question whether anyone...
My point, exactly. Like, you can't just take whatever fucking file you want and put it in this file system and it just works. It does not work like that. It never has. Like, straight the fuck up. I can't take a DLC from the same game purchased from a different store and then apply that DLC into the game on Steam. It does not work like that. Those file systems are not the same. They are not the same.
Anyone involved in this lawsuit has ever actually used a computer. This isn't a legal strategy, this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how digital ecosystems function. When you buy a game on Steam, you're not just buying a product, you're buying a license that's authenticated through Steam's DRM system.
Exactly.
The game files are
now have a
integrated with
license
Steam's
to that
API.
game.
Your save files are stored in Steam's cloud. Your achievements are tracked through Steam's achievement system. Your multiplayer connectivity
means
runs
you
through
now
Steam's
own that
networking
copy of
infrastructure.
software.
When you buy DLC, that DLC
That's what that means.
It has to authenticate with your base game license. It has to verify that you own the core game.
You don't own the entire franchise of the game. No. No, that's not how it works. You own that copy of the game. So that specific file set, that specific file system, you have a license for. That specific version, that specific release of the game, you have a license for. That is your copy. It is hosted on Steam, and when you purchase it, you get a copy of that game. You now own that copy. That is your personal, what do you call it, property at that point. No, you don't own the game franchise. That's not how that works. You own that copy of the game. Just like everybody else has their own copy of the game and their own copy of their DLC. Where do you think they get it from? The same place they got the game from. Because that is how that file system has to be in order to function. It does not just magic. It don't do that. It don't work like that.
Game. It has
Software
to integrate
is
with the
not
existing
that
file
easy.
structure. It has to sync with your save data. Imagine buying a PlayStation game and then crying because you can't plug an Xbox cartridge into the disc drive to play the DLC. Your Honor,
Yeah,
Sony
like,
is forcing
what
me to
the
use
fuck
their
are you crying
ecosystem.
about?
It's a technical necessity. The DLC has to authenticate with the base game license. Do these lawyers even play video games? Do they know what a file directory is? Or do they...
Are these lawyers even lawyers? That's my real question. It's not that do you even play video games. You should know how this works. Ignore the fact that this is a video game. Per se, this is a piece of software, right? Like a business level piece of software. Like, I don't know, Monday CRM or some stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Now you know what to do, huh? Yeah, now you, yeah, exactly. Exactly, you can't do shit. You literally cannot do shit about it. You can't do anything because they haven't really done anything that gives you the legal the legal obligation, let alone the legal opportunity to sue them. Like, the 14 million users in the UK, I don't fucking see any of them back in this. If anything, they got Steam's back, bruh. You're going against your own fucking country and you finna lose, bruh.
Do they just see a big pile of money and start drooling like Pavlov's dogs? And here's the thing that really gets me. If this is truly such an anti-competitive practice, why isn't every single platform being sued? PlayStation works the exact same way. Xbox works the exact same way. The Nintendo Switch works the exact same way. The Epic Games Store, Tim Sweeney's precious baby that supposedly represents the competitive alternative, works the exact same way. If you buy Fortnite skins, you buy them through Epic. If you buy Assassin's Creed DLC on Ubisoft's platform, you buy it through Ubisoft. This is universal, but somehow only Valve is in the dock for this. I wonder why. Could it be because Valve is private, successful, and sitting on a pile of cash that lawyers want a piece of? Nah, couldn't be. That would be too cynical. Class action lawsuits are not a commonplace event in the UK, where the mass litigation is known as a collective action claim and works on an opt-out basis. Basically, Shopbolt and her law firm are going to sue Valve on behalf of British Steam users unless they specifically say they don't want in. That's how it's able to claim to be suing on behalf of 14 million people. Opt out? That is the dirtiest phrase in the legal dictionary. They are counting on your apathy. They are counting on the fact that 99% of you are too busy living your lives to file a form saying, please don't include me in your crusade. They are drafting you into their war without your consent.
Right.
They are using
That's
your consumer
fucking
data
hilarious.
as ammunition to attack the one company that hasn't completely sold out to the shareholder. In the
That
United
is
States,
crazy.
class action
It's fucking
lawsuits
funny
typically
as fuck
work
that
on
two
an opt-in
grown-ass men
basis.
would
You
do
have to
that.
actively join the lawsuit. You have to say, yes, I am part of this claim. I believe I was harmed and I want to participate. That system has its own problems, but at least it requires some level of consent. You're actively choosing to be part of the litigation. The UK's opt-out system flips this entirely. You are automatically included unless you actively remove yourself. And the process for removing yourself, it's deliberately obscure. You have to find the notification, which might be buried in legal notices you never read. You have to fill out forms. You have to submit documentation. You have to do all of this within a specific time frame that you probably don't know about. The result, the vast majority of people never opt out. Not because they support the lawsuit, not because they feel harmed, but because they simply don't know what's happening. This allows law firms to claim they represent millions of people, when the reality is that maybe 0.1% of those people are even aware the lawsuit exists, and an even smaller fraction actually support it. It's legal fiction masquerading as consumer protection. Valve, obviously, objects to the claims and filed to have the case thrown out. A ruling filed January 26 by the Competition Appeal Tribunal says that Valve opposed on the basis that the PCR, the shorthand for Shopbolt's group, had not put forward an adequate methodology before venturing all manner of peculiarly specific fiddly details about determining the effect of the alleged PPOs, and that the class definition was inadequate, and so on. Valve's lawyers argued, you have no way to prove this hurts anyone. This is the methodology argument.
Literally,
in court,
bro.
you can't just say big number bad. You have to show
Yeah,
the
big
math.
number
You
bad.
have to prove that if
What?
Steam didn't exist, games would be cheaper. But guess what? They can't prove that because
Your
every
legal
other store,
argument is
Xbox,
like
PlayStation, Nintendo, charges the exact same
non-existent.
30% commission. So if Steam disappears tomorrow, do prices drop? No, they stay exactly the same, except now the launcher sucks and your friends list is broken. This is where the lawsuit completely falls apart under scrutiny, and it's why Valve fought so hard to get it dismissed on methodology grounds. The entire claim rests on the assumption that Steam's policies cause prices to be higher than they would otherwise be in a competitive market. But where is this magical competitive market?
I was gonna
Show
say,
me
once
the
this
evidence.
actually
The
gets
30% commission
disputed,
that
like,
Steam
the
charges,
judge is gonna look at
industry
this bitch and
standard.
be like,
Apple
"You're
charges
a
it. Google
fucking
charges
idiot,"
it.
you know
Console
that,
manufacturers
like-
charge it. This isn't some unique Valve invention. It's the baseline
No
rate that's
disrespect,
existed
but,
for
like,
decades
you're
across
fucking
all
stupid.
digital distribution. The platform parity obligations. Also, industry standard. Try listing an
honestly
iOS app
think
in the App Store and
that-
then selling
that
it
you're gonna
cheaper
be
on your
able to
website while
actually
using
win
Apple's
this lawsuit
platform for
against
discovery.
Steam?
See how fast you get
Dude, you're
booted.
fucking
The requirement that DLC be sold through the same platform as the
Dude,
base
you're
game.
gonna have a
Technical
real-
necessity,
real
as we've already
rude awakening.
established. So where's the harm? Where's the overcharge? The lawsuit claims £656 million in damages, which means they're claiming that UK consumers were overcharged by that amount. But overcharged compared to what? Compared to a hypothetical fantasy world where digital distribution is free and developers work for exposure, Valve's legal team ripped this apart. They pointed out that the plaintiffs had no coherent methodology for calculating damages. Shopbolt's team promised to double-check their punctuation, and that seemed to be enough to have
have
Valve's
no
concerns
legal
overturned.
argument.
The tribunal rejected Valve's challenge in this respect. Double-check their punctuation. That's what this tribunal thinks of a billion-dollar ecosystem. It's just paperwork. They revised the class definition to tie the class tightly to the party who has suffered the loss. Translation, they did just enough semantic gymnastics to convince a judge who probably still uses a BlackBerry that this lawsuit is legit. And this is the terrifying part. The tribunal didn't reject Valve's arguments because they were wrong. They rejected them because the plaintiffs said, oops, our bad, we'll fix the paperwork. That's it. That's the standard. Valve presents a comprehensive legal argument about why the methodology is flawed, why the class definition is overbroad, why the entire premise of the lawsuit is economically nonsensical, and the tribunal's response is essentially, yeah, but they said they'll revise it, so we're good. This is how bad law gets made. This is how terrible precedents get set. Not because the arguments are sound, not because the evidence is compelling, but because a judge doesn't want to be seen as dismissing a consumer protection lawsuit, even when that lawsuit is obvious nonsense. The class definition issue is particularly egregious. Valve correctly pointed out that the original class definition included minors who legally cannot enter into contracts and therefore cannot be bound by Steam's terms of service. This is basic contract law. If you're under 18, you can't form a binding contract in most jurisdictions. So how can you be part of a class action claiming you were harmed by contract terms you weren't legally bound by? It's circular logic, it's legal gibberish. But the tribunal said, hey, just redefine the class. So they did. Now the class is defined as people who bought games on Steam and were harmed by anti-competitive practices. All of that basically amounts to, yup, this action can go ahead, which will mightily annoy Valve, given 99.9% of Steam users will never even know this action is taking place. That sounds impressively farcical. Should the PCR win, it'll mean everyone in the UK is entitled to some money back, which will likely be fairly meaningless amounts to all involved except for Valve. The claim is looking for £656 million, fairly meaningless amounts to all involved, except for Valve. There it is. The truth. You get $5. The law firm gets $50 million. And Valve, the only private company left that doesn't answer to blood-sucking Wall Street investors, takes a massive hit that forces them to change their business model. Let's do the math, because this is where the scam becomes undeniable. 656 million pounds divided by 14 million users equals approximately 47 pounds per person. That sounds pretty good, right? 47 quid back in your pocket, except that's not how class action settlements work. Ever. First, the law firm takes their cut. In class actions, contingency fees typically range from 25%. Let's be generous and say 30%. That's 197 million pounds straight to Milberg London LLP. Then there are administrative costs. Someone has to process all those claims, verify eligibility, send out notices, handle disputes. That's another 10-15% easily. Let's say 80 million pounds. Now we're down to about 359 million pounds for the actual class members. Divided by 14 million people, that's 27 pounds per person. But wait, not everyone will file a claim. Class action settlements typically see claim rates of 5 to 10%. Most people don't even know they're eligible, and those who do often don't bother with the paperwork for small amounts. Let's say 10% file claims. That's 1.4 million people. 379 million divided by 1.4 million equals 270 pounds per person for those who actually claim. That sounds better, except those claims have to be verified. Some will be rejected, some will be disputed. By the time everything shakes out, successful claimants might see 150 down. And what about the other 12.6 million people who are part of the class but never filed claims? Their share goes back to, well, that's the fun part. It usually goes to Cypress Awards, which means charitable donations chosen by the lawyers, or it reduces the overall settlement. or it just vanishes into legal fees. The average Steam user in this lawsuit will see exactly £0 and 0 pence. A small fraction will see a couple £100. And the law firm will walk away with 9 figures. And the cost? The cost is that Valve has to tighten its belt. Maybe they stop working on Linux support. Maybe they stop the Steam Deck too. Maybe they start allowing intrusive ads in the library to make up the lost revenue. This lawsuit is an attack on the last bastion of quality in the PC market. Let's zoom out, because this isn't just about the UK. This is about a fundamental misunderstanding of why Steam is king. They call it a monopoly. Is it reasonable to say Steam dominates PC gaming? Yes. They have 80-90% of the market. That is a fact. But why? Is it because Gabe Newell hired a hit squad to take out the competition? Is it because they bought every studio and shut them down? No, it's because everyone else sucks balls. Look at the competition. Ubisoft Connect. It logs you out if you sneeze too hard. I have personally spent more time trying to get Ubisoft's launcher to work than I have actually playing Ubisoft games. The thing forgets your password even when you tell it to remember. It requires updates every single time you launch it. It has its own in-game overlay that conflicts with Steam's overlay, which conflicts with Discord's overlay, creating a beautiful cascade of crashed games and lost save files. The EA app, it deletes your save files for fun. I'm not even joking. There are documented cases of EA's launcher just deciding that your 50-hour Mass Effect save doesn't exist anymore. Whoops, gone. And their customer service response is essentially, have you tried turning it off and on again? Thanks, EA. Very helpful. And then there is Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, the principal skinner of the gaming industry. The man who has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on free games, exclusive deals, and lawsuits trying to buy your love. And what happened? Nobody cares. Look at the competition. People claim the free games on Epic and then go buy them on Steam just so they don't have to use the Epic launcher. That is how bad your product is, Tim. Your launcher takes 5 minutes to load on a 40. It looks like a mobile app designed by a drunk intern. It didn't have a shopping cart for years. Let me repeat that for emphasis. Epic Games Store, a digital storefront, didn't have a shopping cart. The most basic feature of e-commerce since approximately you had to buy games one at a time, go through checkout each time, receive separate confirmation emails for each purchase. It was like shopping on Amazon but having to create a new account for every single item. When people pointed this out, Epic's response was basically, we're focused on features that matter. Apparently, basic functionality doesn't matter. Apparently, not making your customers want to throw their keyboards through their monitors doesn't matter. Steam isn't a monopoly because of predatory practices. It's a monopoly because it offers user reviews that are actually funny and helpful, unlike the sanitized corporate speak you get on console stores. Community forums where you can actually get tech support from other players instead of waiting 3 weeks for a support ticket response. The workshop, which has extended the lifespan of games like Skyrim by literally a decade through community mods. Linux support, Steam Deck, baby. Valve is the only company actually pushing Linux gaming forward. Refunds that actually work. 2 hours of playtime, no questions asked. Compare that to console stores where you're lucky if they let you refund a pre-order. Family sharing, so your siblings or friends can play your games without you having to give them your account password. Remote Play Together, which let people play local co-op games online during the pandemic. Big picture mode for couch gaming. Trading cards and achievements that actually integrate with the platform instead of being an afterthought. Sales. Actual regular sales with deep discounts, not the 10% off a 3-year-old game nonsense you see on other platforms. And that's just scratching the surface. We haven't even talked about Steam Input, which lets you use virtually any controller with any
you
game.
can literally
We haven't talked about the
anything, bro.
built-in FPS counter and performance overlay. We haven't talked about the screenshot manager. We haven't talked about the broadcast
Not even
feature.
I have
We haven't
talked
talked
about all
about
of
the
that yet.
curator
Like-
system that helps you discover games. Every single one of these features was built because Valve actually gives a damn about the user experience. Meanwhile, Epic's big
Point
innovation was Check's
fucking
Notes, giving away free games
proven.
and hoping you wouldn't notice that their platform is held together with duct tape and prayers. And the lawsuit claims Steam's 30% cut is excessive. Oh, 30% is unheard of. It is the industry standard. Sony takes 30%. Microsoft takes 30%. Nintendo takes 30%.
Literally
Apple
everybody.
takes 30%. Google
Literally
takes 30%.
everyone.
Why isn't Vicky suing Sony? Why isn't she suing Nintendo? I'll tell you why. Because it's fashionable to hate the platform. Because these lawyers see a private company sitting on a dragon's hoard of cash and they want a piece of it. Because Valve doesn't have an army of PR people and lobbyists running interference. Because Valve is private, which means they can't hide behind shareholders and board members. Sony is a massive publicly traded corporation with lawyers in every jurisdiction. Nintendo is a Japanese company with a legal department that makes the Yakuza look friendly. Apple has more money than some countries and lawyers to match. Valve is a private company run by a bunch of nerds in Seattle who just want to make games and game distribution better. They're an easy target. They can't threaten to pull operations out of the UK because they don't really have operations in the UK. They're a digital platform. They can't lobby Parliament because they don't have a lobbying arm. They can't flood the media with sympathetic coverage because they barely do PR at all. So they get sued, not because they're the worst offender, not because they're the most harmful to consumers, but because they're vulnerable. This argument that developers are forced to pay 30%, nobody is forcing you to be on Steam. You can sell on itch.io for whatever cut you want. You can sell on GOG for 30%. You can sell on Epic for their 12% cut, but nobody buys games there. And whose fault is that? Is it Valve's fault that when you search for good PC game stores, nobody says Epic Game Store? No, it's those platforms' fault for not building something people actually want to use. If you want the audience, you pay the rent. That's business. That's capitalism. I thought you guys loved capitalism, or do you only love it when it's not working for the gamers? Here's the thing about that 30% cut. It's the equilibrium point where platform operators can maintain infrastructure, develop new features, provide support, and still make a profit, while developers can price their games competitively and still make money. When Epic came in with their 12% cut, everyone acted like this was revolutionary. Look, Epic is only taking 12%. Steam is greedy. Except Epic can only sustain that 12% because they're subsidizing it with Fortnite money. The Epic Game Store has never been profitable. It loses money every year. Epic's own court filings in their lawsuit against Apple revealed that they don't expect the store to be profitable until 2027 at the earliest. That's not a sustainable business model. That's not competition. That's a billionaire using money from one business to try to destroy another business in a completely different market. It's predatory pricing, but because it's against big bad Steam, everyone acts like it's noble. If Epic ever actually succeeds in taking significant market share from Steam, what do you think happens? Do you think they maintain that 12% forever? No. They raise it to 25%, then 28%, then 30%, because that's what the market actually supports. And then we're back where we started, except now our libraries are fragmented across multiple platforms that are all worse than Steam. This case hinges on Article 102 of the TFEU Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, which the UK still uses for competition law precedents post-Brexit. It deals with abuse of a dominant position. The claim asserts that the platform parity obligations eliminate meaningful price competition. They argue that because Valve says don't undercut us on permanent pricing, the market price is artificially fixed at a high point. But here is the legal flaw. The relevant market definition. They are defining the market as PC gaming distribution. But that's an artificially narrow market definition designed to make Steam look more dominant than it actually is. Steam doesn't just compete with other PC gaming platforms. Steam competes with consoles. If Steam prices get too high, people buy a PS5. If Steam becomes anti-consumer, people subscribe to Game Pass. The market is digital interactive entertainment. And in that market, Valve is just one big player among giants like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Tencent, and increasingly mobile gaming platforms. When you properly define the market, Steam's dominance shrinks considerably. Sure, they might have 80% of PC game distribution, but PC gaming is only about 25% of the overall gaming market. Suddenly that 80% becomes 20% of the total addressable market. And let's talk about the anti-steering provisions. This is the idea that Valve forces you to use their payment processor. Oh no, a store requires you to pay at the register. Can you imagine walking into Tesco, grabbing a loaf of bread, and demanding to pay your friend Dave in the parking lot instead? Security. This is a monopoly. I want to pay Dave. It's ridiculous. It's fiduciary duty 101. Valve processes the payment to handle fraud, taxes, and refunds. If they let you use third-party payment links, the entire ecosystem of trust collapses. Think about what happens when you buy a game on Steam. Valve processes the payment through secure payment gateways, they handle PCI compliance, they manage chargebacks and fraud detection, they collect and remit sales tax to thousands of jurisdictions worldwide. They handle currency conversion for international purchases. They maintain your purchase history. They enable refunds without you having to contact the developer.
The only thing you
now,
do
when you want a refund,
is
you have to email the developer directly and hope they respond. Now, when there's a data breach, there's no large company to hold accountable. The idea is that if you control an essential facility, something that competitors must have access to in order to compete, you have to provide access on reasonable terms. The classic example is railroad networks. If you own the only railroad line to a town, you can't refuse to let competing freight companies use it, because without that access, competition is impossible. But Steam isn't an essential facility. PC gaming existed before Steam. It exists outside of Steam. You can distribute PC games without ever touching Steam. Plenty of developers do it successfully. What Steam provides isn't essential access to customers. It's a convenient, feature-rich way to reach customers. Those are fundamentally different things. Nobody has a legal right to benefit from Steam's infrastructure without following Steam's rules. That's like arguing that you have a right to have Amazon promote your product just because you want to sell online. Sure, you can sell online without Amazon, but if you want to sell through Amazon, you play by Amazon's rules. The lawsuit also tries to invoke margin squeeze theory. The idea that Valve charges developers developers so much that it squeezes their profit margins to the point where competition becomes impossible. But this fails on multiple levels. First, we've already established that 30% is industry standard. So if this is margin squeeze, every platform is guilty of it. Second, we have abundant evidence that developers are thriving on Steam. Indie games are having a renaissance. Small developers are finding audiences they never could have reached in the pre-digital era. If Steam's fees were truly predatory, we'd see developers fleeing the platform. Instead, we see the opposite. Developers desperately trying to get on Steam because that's where the customers are. Guys, we better act right and fast in any way possible. If you're in the UK, look into your right to opt out of this collective action. Don't let them use your name to dismantle the best platform we've ever had, just so a law firm can buy a bigger yacht. That's all the fun for now. Gotta go. Later.
Love Roblox? Earn Roblox digital gift cards with Microsoft Rewards. Sign up for Microsoft Rewards and earn points for your everyday activities when you search on Bing, play on Xbox, and use other Microsoft products. Get started today.
Guess what I'm wearing? Is it the new Bringus t-shirt made from 100% high quality cotton blanks? Technically yes, but what I was referring to was my G-string. This ain't your typical dollar store Gildan or Hanes shirt with a YouTuber logo slapped on it. This is a high quality, soft, flattering, and comfortable 100% cotton t-shirt with a YouTuber's logo slapped on it. Available in the two most vibrant colors, black and white. Optionally available with a throwback sticker pack, in case you missed out on any old sticker designs. Available right now at the Etsy link in the description. Remember this.
Oh no. Oh no.
You don't remember this?
Oh no, I do remember
I guess
this.
That makes sense.
Oh, I remember it. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, no thank you. Oh no thank you. What is this? For doxing and mocking disabled viewer? What is wrong with you? Bill Gates loses it as Windows 11 users launch boycott after controversial update.
Now, just a few weeks ago, Microsoft's first update of 2026.
This is why I haven't switched to Windows 11, by the way.
Bricked thousands of PCs. We're talking black screens, boot failures, Outlook not wanting to open.
That right there. Because it does not fucking work. For shit. You can't do anything on Windows 11. Because it is an absolute fucking behemoth of a failure of an operating system. Like, dog. When it gets to the point to where I can connect a Bluetooth fucking audio device, but you can't play audio through it no matter how many times I've restarted my computer and disconnected and reconnected and reinstalled my drivers. But it works when I reinstall my operating system and go back to Windows 10 from Windows 11. Guess what? I'm not using Windows 11. Buggy, laggy, undeveloped, garbage.
Microsoft's official solution? Uninstall the update and wait for the next.
You want to know what my official solution is? Uninstall Windows 11. Reinstall Windows 10. Do you see how many less problems you have now? See how much easier it is to just do things now?
Microsoft started treating its users like data points instead of customers. Updates broke more than they fixed, and ads appeared in File Explorer. Privacy settings became more like a maze of off but not really off toggles.
Bill Gates loses it as Windows 11 users launch boycott after controversial update. Bill Gates is freaking out as Windows 11 users just launched a boycott after controversial update. January 2026 was supposed to be another normal update week for Windows 11 users. You wake up, you turn on your PC, and you expect your system to run like it did yesterday. Instead, thousands of people around the world were staring at black screens, endless boot loops, and error messages that made no sense. What was called a routine security patch quickly turned into a global meltdown. Computers froze at 73%. SSDs vanished. Files became corrupted. Machines refused to start at all.
Microsoft has basically been systematically exerting dominance over its users to the point that you question now if your machine is yours or if it is Microsoft and you're just paying for it.
Within hours, forums were exploding.
These days, it seems like there's a new AI browser.
Yeah, no, this
launching
bitch is my
every
machine,
other month.
motherfucker. You talking about? I built this
Discord servers were filled with screenshots of error codes and broken desktops. Offices opened in the morning and found their entire systems down. Email would
Dog, you're actually dead ass. You're telling me that like there's like companies out there right now that literally cannot fucking continue running their business because of this? Microsoft, you have to fix this right now. Like right now.
not open.
What the
Remote
fuck?
access stopped working. The start menu disappeared. The taskbar froze. Hospitals could not access.
That happens on my computer all the time, but it's simply because I run out of memory eventually, and it just can't load it. Like when I go to here, I'll click this, and sometimes this just won't pop up. But like anything that I click on my taskbar, like anything over here or anything like that, it always pops up.
Access patient records. Banks saw ATMs go offline. Airlines struggled to manage check.
ATMs went offline. Airports are unable to do their check-ins.
Check-ins. It felt like someone pulled the plug on the modern world.
Literally, like, you know that shit that they were talking about in 2012 where all the computers would just stop working? Planes would fall out of the sky and shit? Imagine if those planes, flight computers, were based on Windows 11. What the fuck would happen? Them bitches would drop from the fucking sky, bruh. Simply because they released an update that fucks up the system. That literally breaks their own operating system. Like, how do you not... You're Microsoft. How do you build an update and not test it before releasing it to make sure that it functions properly when all of the infrastructure is digitally built off of this operating system? Like every app that every company ever uses and has ever created probably was created on a Windows 10 or a Windows 11 device. Which means that they probably have to have that computer in order to run their business. Do you have any idea how many businesses are just fucked right now? Like, I see why some people choose to run Windows 10 Home Server instead of anything like Windows 11, because updates. Like literally,
And the switch was labeled Windows
Shit
11.
didn't happen in 2012. It happened in 2026.
You can't anymore. They killed
Computers
almost
just
all of the workarounds.
fucking broke.
October's update cut NVIDIA gaming performance in half. Your GPU didn't get worse. Windows made it worse.
And here's the part that really makes you stop and think. Internal testing reportedly showed a 12% failure rate before this update went live. 12%. That means 1 out of every 8 machines crashed during testing, and yet the update was released anyway. So Bill Gates, where was the voice of reason? Where was the moment someone said,
so they did
maybe
test
breaking
it.
millions of computers is not worth the rush? Did nobody look at those numbers and think this might be a problem?
You are not a Microsoft slave. You own your device. Take your freedom back. Dump Windows. Otherwise, it will own you. Microsoft has plans
Yeah, I
for
don't
you,
use Windows
and
11
you will not
specifically
like
for
those
that
plans.
reason.
The damage was not small. Analysts
Y'all motherfuckers think
estimated
you can control me,
$14 billion
bitch. I will
in
choose my own
losses
operating
in just
system.
the first week. Startups missed deadlines. Surgeries were delayed. Businesses shut down for days.
Alright, Microsoft, when it gets to the point to where not even hospitals can do their fucking job because they don't have access to their medical utensils, or like they can't even access their patients' files. Like, dog, Microsoft, you're about to have so many fucking lawsuits. You fucked up.
Days.
Like bad.
Small companies with 10 employees had no backup systems and no
Like
extra
literally,
hardware.
you're at fault
They
for
depended on
thousands of
Windows
businesses
working.
going
When it
offline.
failed, their income stopped. Investors pulled back.
Because
Clients lost
unbeknownst
trust.
to them,
This was not
they
a glitch
installed
in
an
a game.
update
This was real
that they
money,
had no idea
real
was going to
stress,
destroy their
real
computer.
consequences.
But in recent years, with the advent of Windows 11, I have to say that Microsoft has truly gone crazy.
Microsoft scrambled to fix it. Emergency patches were pushed out. Instructions were published telling users to boot from USB drives, open command prompt, type complex commands, and manually repair system files. Many regular users had no idea what those steps even meant. Helplines were flow-moded.
Yeah. So like,
wait times stretched for hours and days. Imagine paying for a
Microsoft
product
isn't gonna
and then
exist
needing
for
a
much
degree in
longer.
computer science just to make it usable again after an update.
That's the January 2026 update that broke everything, and it's not an outlier. It's just this month's entry in what was already a catastrophic 2025 for Windows updates. December of 2025. That update wouldn't install on brand new computers. Endless install loops. Factory resets didn't even fix it.
And in the middle of all this, Bill Gates was reportedly pulled into emergency meetings. He has not run Microsoft for years, but when the crisis became too big, his
had to
name
bring him
came
back.
back into the room.
Yeah, they had to
It
bring
makes you
him back.
wonder how bad things must have looked inside the company. When you have to call the founder because an update broke the world, something has gone seriously wrong. How did it get to that point? How did quality control collapse this far?
Microsoft has announced that the next major Windows 11 update, 26H1, is not for your PC. Even if you did upgrade to Windows 11 when they told you you had to, there was a little bit of attitude there, so no update for you.
But the update disaster was not just about broken screens. It was the final spark in a long chain of frustration. Users had already been dealing with forced Microsoft accounts. You try to install Windows 11 and it demands an online account.
Demands?
The option to create a simple local account was removed.
Oh yeah,
Workarounds
I'm not
were
switching
patched
to
out.
Windows 11.
Even Paint started
Absolutely
asking for
fucking
sign-in
not.
prompts for features nobody asked for. Bill, when did opening a drawing app become a data collection opportunity?
He's the founder. He doesn't control anything that happens with the company. He just funds it.
But Microsoft's patch quality has
He gave up that position. He gave up CEO a long time ago. He gave it to somebody else.
completely collapsed. Windows Central called 2025 Windows 11's, quote, worst year yet. Non-stop bugs, broken updates, unwanted features, pushing users to the breaking point.
Then there are the ads. Ads in the start menu.
That's what I'm saying. This is the problem, Microsoft. You're too busy implementing new shit. That you're not fixing any of the things that you've already implemented. Like, we don't need new features. We don't need new programs. We don't need ads. We don't need any of that. We need an operating system that we can fucking use. That actually works. That functions. That when I press something, it actually opens that fucking program. That when I turn my computer on in the morning, I don't have to worry about whether or not it got fucking destroyed last night because you randomly installed an update against my will. Yeah. That is why I'm not switching to Windows 11, because you are too busy implementing things that do not fucking work and continue to make the operating system more and more unusable by every week that passes. Like I thought I was just, overreacting about Windows 11, and it really wasn't that bad. And then I experienced it for myself, and I still thought I was overreacting. No. No, it's garbage. It is absolute fucking trash. I would much rather use Windows XP and have to find my own fucking workarounds in order to run programs that only work on Windows 10. Like, I would much rather deal with that than whatever the fuck Windows 11 has got going on.
Ads in File Explorer, prompts for OneDrive storage,
Like, I'm telling you,
constant nudges to subscribe to Microsoft 365.
Exactly, bro. Like, and if you don't, they just force you to. They just fucking force you to subscribe to it anyway. Like,
People paid for their hardware. They paid for Windows through that hardware.
and then they expect you to pay
And now
for a
they are being
subscription that you didn't
advertised to
sign up
inside
for.
the
Like,
operating
nah,
system.
dog.
It feels less like a tool and more like a billboard. At some point, you have to ask, is this an operating system or a marketing platform?
New computers
Marketing
using Windows
platform.
11 now turn on BitLocker, which is disk encryption, by default. You might think this is a good thing, but not really. Windows has been forcing us to use cloud services constantly with features like OneDrive to ensure that you keep your files on Microsoft servers. Now they're pushing the new Windows backup.
The TPM 2.0 requirement added another layer of anger. Millions
It's
of
just 'cause
perfectly
I
working
did this,
computers were suddenly labeled
I go like
obsolete
this.
because
No.
they lacked a specific
Why are
security
you
chip.
cropping it? Scale to
Since you're
window.
already playing games anyway, why not earn some free rewards while you're at it? All you need to do is
Why
download
is
buff
my
that'll
output
run in the
different
background as you play, and
than
just
my
like that you'll
input?
start earning buff points. These can be used in the marketplace to purchase things like Riot gift cards, Steam vouchers, or even just gaming gear in general. It's a free program that works
Output.
while you're playing your favorite games, and they support things like Valorant, League, as well as countless other titles. What are you waiting for?
Okay. Down here.
The time
why am I
is
not
now.
able to change it?
Your chance to
video
take a
output
leap,
is
to
currently
do what
active.
you've
Please
been
turn
waiting
off
for, like
any
taking a
outputs
closer
to change
look
video
and
settings.
making a bigger difference. Because when
Okay.
you become a rocket, you're able to do smart things, to
Well,
do art things, to do
I will return in a few minutes. I don't know what happened to my webcam. Don't know if it's still there or not. Well, it appears to be. Oh, am I zoomed in? Why am I zoomed in? What the hell? No wonder. I think it is recording the whole screen. I can't tell though. Well, if it wasn't before, I got it in the. I could, you know what? I know what I can do. Just go like this. Go like this. And then we just wait. Yeah, okay. So then I just need to go back over here and make that just a little bit wider. And then move it just like that. Boom. Problem solved. In literal seconds. Is that a space heater? The freak? A freaky little Fragazoid. Man, that doesn't really work as well as I hoped it would. I mean, it works, but not great. Anyway,
let's roll up our sleeve.
Machines built in 2018 with strong processors and plenty of memory were blocked from upgrading. Users were told to buy new hardware. That looks less like security and more like forced replacement.
For sure.
Bill, did you really believe people would smile and throw away machines that still work perfectly?
Apple cannot access your keys even if the FBI demands it. Microsoft? We believe customers are in the best position to decide how to manage their keys. Yeah, that's cool. Except you buried that choice during setup and defaulted everyone to cloud backup. Microsoft gets about 20 requests a year for BitLocker keys.
Privacy concerns made things worse. Telemetry runs in the background. Even on the lowest setting, data about apps and hardware is sent back. Then came Recall, a feature that captures screenshots of your activity so you can search it later. It was presented as helpful. Many saw it as surveillance. Security researchers found weaknesses in how the data was stored. Even if it is local, users do not like the idea of their entire digital life being recorded in snapshots.
Again, to ensure that Microsoft keeps your documents. Or how about the Microsoft ID and the constant battle to ensure that you have a computer free from a privacy invading identifier? Or how Microsoft keeps forcing updates that you cannot turn off?
All of this created the perfect storm. The update broke machines. The account requirement felt forced. The ads felt disrespectful. The privacy tools felt invasive. So users began to act. Downgrades to Windows 10 increased even after support ended. People chose unsupported software over Windows 11. Linux market share doubled from around 3% to over 6% in a year.
I'm one of those people that chose unsupported software instead of Windows 11.
Rose by over 100%.
Because,
many of you
bitch,
who
I'll
are
support the
users of Windows
software
10 are
myself.
likely in
I am my
Linux.
own support.
Windows 10 is about to be classified as end of life by Microsoft. End of life is today.
Straight
IT
up,
departments reported serious regret. Surveys showed that 34% of IT professionals who deployed Windows 11 were considering downgrading.
Damn.
One law firm reported a 14% drop in productivity after upgrading.
Damn.
Finding new adventures, and extra confidence, and extra miles.
They rolled back the system and saw performance recover. Gamers complained about frame rate drops of up to 15%. Developers said their build systems failed after updates. When the tools you rely on stop working, loyalty disappears quickly.
October of 2025. That update destroyed gaming performance on NVIDIA GPUs. Frame rates cut in half. NVIDIA had to release an emergency driver to fix what Microsoft broke. Users went from 30 FPS to 71 FPS after the fix.
This is where brand loyalty started collapsing. Longtime users who defended Windows through Vista and Windows 8 began posting farewell messages. Net Promoter scores reportedly dropped from positive territory. to deeply negative. Developers expressed frustration in large surveys. Forums filled with anger instead of nostalgia. It takes decades to build trust. It can take a few years of bad decisions to destroy it. So now you have users launching boycotts. You have people turning off automatic updates. You have businesses testing Mac and Linux. You have startups rebuilding entire systems just to escape instability. And you have Bill Gates watching a brand he built become the subject of daily ridicule online. The question hanging in the air is simple. How did the company that defined personal computing end up fighting its own users?
One update literally broke Windows Recovery. That's the tool designed to fix Windows. And it couldn't fix Windows. Now, the issue isn't that Windows needs security patches. The issue is that the patches are the problem.
This feels like the end of an era. Windows once felt like home to millions. Now it feels like something users need to defend themselves from. When people start planning for failure instead of expecting reliability, the relationship changes forever. And that is the real crisis. Not just a broken update, but a broken bond between a company and the people who trusted it for decades.
Now you, consumer tier, you're the QA team. Microsoft ships updates without knowing if they work, it seems like. Hundreds of millions of PCs get them simultaneously. Microsoft waits to see what breaks. Then they fix the fix. Then fix that fix. And then 3 months later, maybe your PC works.
Now let's talk about the part that really hurts Microsoft the most. It is not just broken updates. It is not just forced accounts. It is not even the AI experiments. It is the collapse of loyalty. For decades, Windows users were not just customers. They were defenders. They argued with Mac users. They built careers on Windows. They helped their parents fix Windows problems. They recommended Windows to friends. That loyalty was Microsoft's shield. And Windows 11 cracked it wide open.
Microsoft collects more data from these activities than its users may realize.
From a Windows recall that records everything you do on the computer to new telemetry that can potentially track your interactions over the internet.
It gets even weirder because according to people who dug into it, Windows now tries to open Paint sometimes through the Microsoft Store app framework by default. When that fails to connect to their servers, that's when you can see login problems.
Recent internal surveys reportedly showed that 61% of longtime Windows users, people who have used it for more than 15 years, now actively dislike Microsoft as a company. Not mildly annoyed, not slightly frustrated, actively hostile. That is a dramatic shift.
I'm not actively hostile against Microsoft, but like all of the shit that you've done, like I do not trust you at all.
That means more users are warning others away than recommending the brand.
I can't.
That is not a minor dip.
I literally cannot.
That is a brand identity crisis. You can see it online every day. Long threads from people saying they used Windows since 1995 and finally switched. Developers posting screenshots of their new Linux desktops. IT professionals explaining why they moved entire departments to Mac. Even journalists who covered Microsoft for decades are now publicly using other platforms. When the most loyal voices start walking away, that is not random noise. That is a warning siren.
The time I spent on Apple, I didn't have a single virus, and that was over a decade. That's not to say that Mac viruses don't exist, but they're rare because people aren't often targeting people on Macs.
And here is what makes this even more painful. These were the power users, the influencers, the IT admins, the people who decide what software entire offices use. One IT director manages hundreds or thousands of devices. When that person loses faith, the company loses hundreds of machines at once. Surveys have shown that over 30% of IT professionals are considering downgrading or abandoning Windows 11 after deployment. That number should terrify any executive. Bill, how did this happen on your watch? How did the base that carried Windows through every storm suddenly become the loudest critics? How did evangelists turn into exit guides? Loyalty takes decades to build. It takes a few years of frustration to destroy. And once it flips, it spreads fast. One former loyal user influences 5 others to leave. The network effect works in reverse.
When you use them and what you're doing. Microsoft's not selling you Windows. They're selling you, your data, your habits, your privacy to advertisers and AI models. And guess what? You don't get a choice.
This PC is powered by Snapdragon X Series platforms. That PC isn't. What's the difference? Here's a little intel on what's...
Now let's look at the bigger picture. Microsoft is valued near $4 trillion. Cloud revenue is massive. More than half of total revenue comes from cloud services. Shareholders are celebrating. Stock charts look beautiful. But at the same time, the daily user experience feels worse. Slower performance, more ads, more prompts, more forced features. There is a clear divergence. Company value rising. User satisfaction falling. Under Satya Nadella, Microsoft pivoted to cloud and recurring revenue. Azure, Microsoft 365, enterprise licensing. That strategy worked for investors. Windows slowly became the gateway to those services. The operating system stopped being the product, it became the funnel. Sign into your Microsoft account. Store your files in OneDrive. Subscribe to Office. Use Copilot. Feed data into AI systems. Everything points upward toward cloud revenue.
And the second justification for Microsoft is to encourage more people to use Windows Copilot, which creates AI-capable computers. Again, a massive risk to privacy.
From a business perspective, it makes sense. Enterprise contracts bring in billions. Home users bring far less. Complaints on social media do not threaten billion-dollar agreements. But here is the risk. Home users create culture. Developers create ecosystems. Gamers create momentum. When they turn against you, the cultural tide shifts. And culture eventually influences business decisions. Microsoft executives publicly admit reliability and performance need attention. But the AI push keeps accelerating. Copilot integrated everywhere. Agentic operating system language, screenshots and AI assistants watching your screen. Bill, was this really what people were asking for? Did users wake up one morning and demand that their operating system become an AI experiment? Or did they simply want stability and speed?
Windows didn't die overnight. It faded slowly, one bad decision at a time. And now, what's left feels less like a tool for creativity and more like an ad platform wrapped in AI features that no one asked for.
And while this is happening, competitors are not sitting quietly. Apple runs ads.
Anyway. Company calls me a liar after opening a lock with a can. Dude, I don't doubt it. Shoot me if you want, just don't call me stupid. I want to know what bro means.
Shooting? Yes, but be careful. Not in the eyes and not in the mouth.
Subcutaneous armor?
The skin itself, 20 times more resistant to puncture than Kevlar. His muscles absorb the blows and cover his organs.
Let him loose. Let's see how he moves.
No, I cannot do that without sedating him. He would kill everybody in this room, including me.
Are you saying that you can't control him?
I control him, but I have to work on
What good is that, a weapon that we can't control?
You can use him under certain circumstances for the
That's
military.
not what we commissioned from you, Doctor.
You asked me to create an invincible soldier. That's what I'm presenting to you today. Basically bulletproof, no need for sleep, and he can fight harder and longer than any human soldier.
A soldier? You're making brainless monsters!
Shoot him.
Shoot him?
Yes, but be careful. Not in the eyes and not in the mouth.
So, give me your worst route.
The internet used to feel simple. One browser, one login.
To join the scariest game test in history, I agreed to let the gaming company drill a hole in the back of my head. Once this button is implanted and paired with a headset, my eyes can see virtual images generated by the computer right in front of me. Daisy pressed the button, and the horror game loaded into my brain. She typed a command into the computer, and I was shocked to find 5 holes appear on the desk. A cute gopher crawled out of one, but the resolution was a bit pixelated. After Daisy made an adjustment, the gopher instantly became crystal clear. With the details enhanced, it looked like it was actually alive, making it hard for me to tell what was real. In fact, I was the only one who could see the gopher because... Knock on the door.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god, look at this. New Sim. Yo.
Why do many Japanese wrap a layer of tape around the chain of a bike they have just bought it? It turns out that simple a habit has a very important purpose. After buying a new bike, they carefully wrap the entire chain with electrical tape. Behold, a brand new chain is completely covered in tape. But what is the point of doing this? And what can be the benefit?
Oh, to keep
Let me explain.
on
Whether
the
you use
chain.
a black tape or any other color, as long as the chain is completely wrapped, it helps to protect the metal from rust and corruption. At the same time, it reduces the chain's noise as you pedal, making the bike much quieter. There's another fundamental advantage. When you apply oil to the chain, the lubricant stays inside instead of splashing out. As a result, the money stays in your pocket, since a single oil can last up to a year without forming sticky green mark.
Alright class, today we have a new
That's
student.
actually pretty
He's
smart.
actually been here before, but everybody welcome Steven. Steven, do you want to see if...
I was gonna say, I typically just use something with a higher viscosity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you pour water on it, it's just gonna go straight through the chain. Yeah, so don't do this. This right here is a trash chute. It is designed for garbage. It is not designed for a person. It is not designed to handle your weight. It is not designed to hold you up, and that's probably why this one's broken in the first place.
I almost feel like there's no way this isn't fake or set up or edited in some way, but unfortunately, I think it's real. You guys are always giving me flack about people tagging me in videos. Well, guess what? This time I found it myself on Reddit. It shows a guy in a white t-shirt about to go down a debris chute. If you have keen eyesight, you'll notice in the middle it's not connected, and he ends up falling straight through
It's
an
literally for
unspecified
everything
distance.
that you
As
remove
previously mentioned,
and
what
do
we're
not
looking at
need.
is a debris chute or a trash chute. These are usually used in construction projects. It's an easy way for trash to get down from the top of the building to the bottom, and some people, when they see these, have intrusive thoughts, and some of them follow through on them. Now this is a bad idea for a few reasons. First off, it is possible to get stuck in here if you have too wide of a frame. But on top of that, as we saw, sometimes pieces can come undone. And even in the best possible scenario where you can control your descent and you're not going to get stuck, there are still remnants of trash in here that can scrape you up pretty bad.
If you see this in a car, don't ride in it. Ho, ho, ho!
If you don't yet understand what this possibly and likely means, you might want to scroll off this video now. I'm giving you guys a fair warning. Alright, you had your warning. For those of you that chose to stay, this video that was sent to me through Instagram shows a parking brake inside of a vehicle, pretty standard stuff. The person then zooms in, we can see a bunch of green bottle flies on the tip of the parking brake, and this is probably not a good thing. The connection that people have been drawing here, myself included, is that parking brakes are slender and lengthy. I'll just leave it at that. And green bottle flies are known to consume decaying organic matter, like carrion or feces. So, if you really think about it, why would green bottle flies be attracted to this object that's shaped like this? Then again, these bottle flies also consume nectar and sweet things, so hopefully this person spilled something sweet on their hands and grabbed the parking brake.
If you see this in a car, don't ride in it. Ho, ho, ho!
If you don't yet understand...
Is it time to
here?
What?
Is yours?
Yeah, I just didn't want you to think I was running or anything.
License, please.
License.
Plane check your speed at 123 southbound. Sorry. You guys know each other?
No.
No?
No.
How old are you?
20.
20. You still live on Patriot?
Yeah.
Good phone number for you.
No.
Any reason we're going so fast?
I wasn't looking.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Show's over.
Bro is just doing his job. Alright, we've been on this for about, how long now? 88 million people were just banned off of Steam. Actually, okay, I guess we're not done yet.
It's Swishies.
I wasn't banned.
Rinse kills 99.9% of germs.
TheraBreath, it's a better mouthwash.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, need to just build.
Turkey is threatening to ban Steam if they don't give all of their data to Turkey. So basically, here's what Turkish representatives are drafting in their legal system. Digital game stores such as Steam, Epic Games, PlayStation Store, and the Xbox Store will face a 90% bandwidth throttling penalty if they do not appoint a representative in Turkey, rendering them basically unusable. Now, frankly, it seems to me what they're doing here is obvious. The person for each of these gigantic digital game stores has to be appointed first, so they have someone to threaten the game stores through. But their actual goal is to have someone available to extort these game stores for bribes. Along with this appointed representative, Steam will be required to comply with any requests for information from the Turkish government regarding any information about their corporate structure, algorithms, and data processing mechanisms. That's basically saying, hey, you need to give us all of your most valuable stuff and spend money on a full-time person to suck up to us. Oh yeah, and some bribes would be good too. Generally speaking, this sort of system may make sense if you're a company that operates locally only, especially if you're involved in infrastructure or other things that impact that country and their government directly, such as a telecom company or power company. This isn't the case for Steam though. Steam operates everywhere. So the question would be, why is this representative necessary in Steam's case? A theory I've seen floating around is that Turkey may want to ban more games. Steam is a huge distributor of sexual content. Turkey is 99% Muslim, which has led to extremely heavy laws against many types of sexual content. Maybe they feel Steam has done a poor job at enforcing these bans. But I don't think this theory really makes sense though. Steam bans games by region all the time and always complies with the legislators on this. They don't need a full-time Steam representative in place in order to ban games. China even has their own specific Chinese Steam client, but China is a huge country with 1.2 billion people, so the economics make sense. Turkey has 88 million, so it's by no means small, but less of a priority. I've also seen people say with this potential ban that Steam should just remove its services from Turkey, and similar things with the lawsuit in the UK. These people seem to think it would be worth the effort for Steam to upkeep these regions. The truth is, there is no way Steam will do that. Valve's profit margins on Steam are absolutely insane. If the cost of upkeeping a country was actually higher than the money it made them, I wouldn't be surprised if they shut down service in that country. But
neither would I. Like, honestly, it's the most logical decision you can make.
About
like,
this is Turkey would not fit within.
If you're gonna sue us for, you know, providing you shit that we didn't have to,
criticizing their leader is illegal.
To begin with,
but many, especially who live here in
and
America,
you agreed to those license terms and conditions, and now you want to sue us, and it happens that
it's
keeping you around is not worth the amount that we made off of you.
Very similar. That's not how it works.
They'll probably let you go, man.
That has the same policy in place regarding Steam needing to send a representative, and that's Russia. Keep in mind, Russia is currently embargoed by the United States and 45 other countries due to the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war. However, Steam still operates in Russia, but they don't sell anything in Russia currently. So basically, if you've already bought a game off of Steam, you can still download it, you can still play on it, things like that. Turkey is not one of these countries that embargoed Russia though, and it is famously on very good terms with Russia. Although strangely enough, Turkey is in the military alliance NATO with the rest of the countries that embargoed Russia, and they have no formal alliance with Russia. So really, I think a lot of this comes down to Western people not understanding the political landscape in Turkey. Over here in the United States, they do not teach any of the complexities of a European Union in public schooling, and they don't teach which countries in the continent of Europe are in the European Union. A lot of Americans seem to think that every country within the continent of Europe is part of the European Union. Turkey is not a part of the European Union. It has been a candidate for membership since 1999, but due to human rights violations, membership talks are effectively frozen. This is the 2026 map for the European Union, and it gets even more complex when you talk about Turkey being in NATO despite being much more closely politically aligned with Russia and China. That's why, when I started off the video, I immediately jumped to bribes. Whether you like it or not, politics definitely impacts business, and this is an obvious case of that. But Turkey likes to play coy because they don't want to piss off any Western countries' politicians who may decide to sanction them or even embargo them if things got bad enough. Turkey is playing both sides to try and benefit themselves with being able to trade with both sides at once. If I were in Valve's shoes with Steam, I would frankly just comply. From the perspective of making the most money possible, which is what companies are trying to do, it just makes sense. They will likely need to pay bribes, but they're already used to doing that due to China. The annoying part about this, as someone who loves games, is this is just another burden being placed on Valve for no good reason. And Valve doesn't operate the same way as a normal company does. There are approximately 360 Valve employees total. Microsoft, meanwhile, another group being targeted by this due to Xbox's digital game store, has 228,000 people that work for it. It is much easier for Microsoft to dedicate a representative than Valve. If I had to guess what Valve will do, they may hire a contractor, someone who specializes in just this sort of thing. But this is exactly why big companies end up bloated in the first place. A lot of it is to kiss the feet of the right people and legally protect what they've already built. Valve isn't like that. They are built to continue innovating. The common strategy for big companies now isn't to invent things. It's to let small companies invent things, acquire them, merge them into what your megacorp already owns, protect it with your army of lawyers, and sit on the money coming in from those acquisitions like a dragon. Valve doesn't do that. They are built to be lean and efficient. And every time something like this happens, it's just a huge slap in the face, turning them into a fatter and fatter company. That's why people care about the Valve lawsuits. That's why people care about things like this happening to Valve. This might be a reason why we've been seeing our favorite games get updated less and less and less over time. But I guess we'll see. Anyways, that was just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Any signal on your side?
No. Feels like airplane mode.
Hey, love, how's it going? Hi. Wait, gotta show you my new bag. Ta-da! Check this. Excuse me, what?
I can't even get Wi-Fi in the bathroom.
But I'm always walking around on the video calls.
So we gotta
hold up. There's two of us.
Yeah, chill for a sec. Just grab the Romy app first.
Okay. Who are you?
There's a find Wi-Fi spot feature. Give it a try.
Should we get started? I'll be in the living room.
Then it will show me the best place to stay. Not here. Still not here. Definitely not here. This is it. Let's get started.
Wi-Fi 7. Faster, wider, more stable.
Double the power, double the coverage.
Full signal.
That's not bad at all. That's actually insane.
Auto switching, seamless.
What do bros pay? Like $7 grand for it or something? And all it needs is fucking a new seat saddlebags and footboards? Actually, dude? Like, no.
Begun, the RAM wars have. Every last grain of sand has been drafted into the cause. They told them that their sacrifice would be noble, but a chance like this only comes around once in a 3-year product life cycle. Consumers watched as young hopeful RAM sticks left their Newegg carts, leaving behind nothing but empty DIMM slots in their homes. I was in love with him from the day I first saw his big, beautiful RGB strips staring back at me.
Everybody likes them
I was going to
blacked out.
teach
It's
him to
normal, bro.
overclock, how to live with his neighbors in dual channel, when
It
to
just looks
correct
better
a
in
bit,
black.
and
You
when
know
to
what I
just
mean?
let it go. But serving your data center is more important
Straight
than any
up.
of that, the young dim thought. I've heard the shareholders. I understand what's at stake for them. I have to do my part in advancing human society to
What am I
secure the
watching?
future of the Silicon people. But
Gaming on an Arduino. Alright. Well, I'm gonna end this here. And I will probably be back online later. I'm gonna go and do something.